Mike Missanelli show on a special Friday. Special Friday meaning it's damp and dank. And I hate this weather. This has been the worst spring in my memory. But we proceed anyway because we're tucked inside. And people have to work outside. You're in that murk, and I feel sorry for you. But listen to us for a little happiness today. Let's talk about the Phillies. All right. Bill has. Wait a minute. I
hear Tom McCarthy.
I got some. Yeah, Tom McCarthy. I got the sound on here on this game. All right, but the game, that's what game I want to talk about. Game 2. The Phillies win a series. They beat Atlanta 2-1 in the series. The last game, I don't know, did it taint anything for you? We looked at this, they got waxed, okay, and their ace did not last. So you gave the Braves a little bit of life after burying them in the first 2 games. You gave them a little bit of life, and they leave town with a little better hope with a big win over your fighting Phils. But I thought the interesting part of today was Dave Dombrowski's analysis of what this Phillies team is. And I heard the morning guys go, can a lineup, and they went all the way down the lineup. Okay, so you want to go around the horn. Can a lineup of Bohm, Turner, Stott, Harper, Real Muto, Kepler, platoon in center, Castellanos, with that pitching staff, actually win a World Series? That's the bigger question. And so we get to Dave Dombrowski's analysis because he was on a podcast with a couple of baseball guys, Joel Sherman from the New York Post, John Heyman from the New York Post. They've covered baseball for a really long time. And so I want to play this at the top, whether he actually believes this or whether everybody else believes it, whether they agree with him or whether they don't agree with him. So, Ray, I want to play Dave Dombrowski 1 talking about his team right now.
I don't feel like our offense is really gelled 100% by any means, and yet we're still among the league leaders in many categories. It's interesting. I just think it points to how much offense is down throughout the game. So I think for us, a lot of it, I think, just becomes an internal improvement for us because I think Schwarber has been the one guy that has been hot from beginning to now. The numbers he's put up has been fantastic. We have a lot of guys that are doing fine. Turner's been doing a lot better recently. Harper, despite saying, okay, he's not really Bryce as you anticipated, he's on the pace to driving 100 runs right now, too. So I think a lot of it comes from the internal. Bohm doing a little bit better. Stott doing a little bit better. JT doing better. Castellanos, Marsh, Kepler. So a lot of those guys need to kind of pick it up a little bit for us. And then we'll just continue to evaluate what takes place as far as what additions we may need to make. But we don't have a glaring hole there, but we just need a lot of improvements by the individuals.
So he says internal improvement. And he's saying that those guys have kind of underachieved and they have to pick it up. And my question is, have they really underachieved, or is this what they are? Like, what are you trying to get? What more blood are you trying to get? Are you trying to get everybody in the lineup to be a 300 hitter? We know that they're not. He conveniently glossed over the center field problem with Marsh and Rojas. And, Bill, your boy Rojas, I have to put this stat out at the top because I remember you lauding him. Well, look, he's hitting about 300. Look at this. He's like 320. Since then, he has plunged like 80 points. He is 3 for his last 30. Which people haven't taken inventory on. And your boy in left field, who you think could be a power source as a platoon with Kepler, is 3 for his last 16, and that's Weston Wilson. So are we talking about the Phillies needing internal improvement or in general improvement?
Yeah, it's interesting. And first of all, when we talk about Dubs, all right, he hit that home run last night. Just happened to be a little bit foul. So leave Dubs alone for a sec. But you're right, Mike. Look, Weston Wilson, I joke with you. He's not an everyday player. We know that. But when Dombrowski talks, I'm going to hit him with my favorite saying. He's not wrong. When you look at this Phillies team in the month of May, they're 19-7. But when you look at them offensively, even with JT Realmuto struggling, and you're not really having an answer from the right side of the plate, you don't trust Max Kepler against left-handed pitching yet. You're not trusting Bryson Stott against left-handed pitching. They still finished in the month of May, number 4 in runs, number 3 in batting average, number 6 in home runs, number 2 in on-base percentage, number 6 in slugging percentage, and they finished May 19-7, and there's one more game today. So you look at this offense, and I think Dombrowski's right. If some guys just improve a little bit, and maybe JT, his age is finally catching up to him, but if he can start hitting better. Bohm has come along. Turner's hitting over 300. Schwarber's been on fire. Bryce Harper, really, it's only been the last couple of weeks that you started to see Bryce Harper be the Bryce Harper of old. So when I look at this team, if you got to give up prospects and you got to do something to improve, it's got to be in the bullpen. Like I would live with the outfield the way it is. Now, don't get me wrong. If they can get a right-handed bat in that outfield and they could figure out a way to do it and also upgrade their bullpen, by all means, go for it. But if you had to choose one, I think you would agree with me.
Yeah.
You're fixing the bullpen.
Okay, but then you've avoided my earlier question, which is when I presented that lineup to you in conjunction with the pitching staff is, both bullpen and starters, do you believe – listen, they're high ranked in the power rankings. They're ranked 2 behind the Yankees, for crying out loud. Do you believe this team is World Series worthy?
Yeah,
in their current configuration.
Not looking at the pitching staff, just the lineup.
No, the whole thing.
They got
to line up in conjunction with their starters and the relief pitchers.
They got to upgrade the pen. Outside of that, if you tell me that going into October, same lineup, same starting pitching staff, and the bullpen has been upgraded, then yes, they can win a World Series as constructed.
Okay. My only beef with what Dombrowski says is you need internal improvement. And I think that you bark up a really tall tree when you got these guys are what they are. I think they've shown you what they are. I don't know if there's any more room for crazy offensive improvement. They're solid. The guys in the lineup that he mentioned are not going to knock your socks off at any particular time. They're gonna hit 260. 270, whatever that is. Is that enough? I mean, it might be enough. I don't know. I'm merely asking the question, and I'm asking the question to the fan base on how they feel. But Dombrowski did address this bullpen situation, and so Ray, let's hear him say that they don't necessarily need a closer.
Well, I don't know if I'd say closer. I think you have to identify your needs as time goes on, and probably our biggest need is our bullpen. I mean, it has been for us, and you lose Alvarado, so you keep an eye on it. There's different ways to go about it. Internally, we have pitched better. Ideally, you would have some strength in more late inning type guys that can give you a scoreless inning late. We'll keep our eyes open on that. The other thing is, and I don't want to get too carried away at this point, but between our starting pitching right now, we're in a position where, and of course, Walker's in there now. At some point, he will move back to the bullpen when Nola's ready. And we're in a position where he did pitch great out of the bullpen. His velocity ticked up to 95 with a tremendous splitter. Fields his position, holds runners. We feel that the potential exists there for him to help us. You go into the postseason, we have 5 starting pitchers that are big league quality guys now with Wheeler and Nola and Sanchez and Suarez and Luzardo, in addition to Walker. They're not all going to start, so somebody's going to slide into the bullpen for you.
Okay. So who would that be that slides into the bullpen? So are we seeing Taijuan Walker and Ranger Suarez slide into the bullpen?
That would be the obvious one. I mean, look, Aaron Nola, I don't see them putting him in the pen. Even if Nola comes back and he's continuing to struggle, I think what they're paying Nola, he's going to be a starter come October. So it has to be Ranger and Walker.
All right, well, we'll talk about what they did in Game 1 and Game 2. And also today is, since yesterday was the Scripps-Howard spelling bee, always a big thing. We're going to have today the Scrubs-Howard spelling bee.
You versus Ray?
No, it's you versus the word.
This man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play.
Check out the big brain on Ray to rescue you.
Wait, are you going to provide it in a sentence just like they do with the spelling bee?
I may provide it in a sentence.
Okay.
All right?
I was pretty good at spelling bees back then.
Well, that's why I'm testing you. Because a lot of people think that you're kind of a, not exactly the most cerebral guy. And
Correct.
And I'm here to prove opposite.
The worst shtick going on this show.
I'm here to prove the opposite. with a Scrubs Howard spelling bee.
I think I beat both of you in IQ.
610.
You would be wrong, but that's okay.
0975 610 632 0975. It is the Mike Missanelli Show. We're back after this.
Connor Thomas. What this is with all of the things.
.15, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome, everybody, to a Friday show. Whatever your plans are for the weekend, keep in mind that it's going to frickin' rain again today and tomorrow. Sunday looks like it'll be an interestingly clear day. It just goes on and on and on.
I have been promising my kids. I got the fire pit, marshmallows, the graham crackers. I got everything I need to make s'mores. We can't do it. It rains every damn night. I haven't been able to do it with them.
A chocolate bar in there?
Yeah, chocolate. Mm-hmm. Got the whole thing going.
Hershey's?
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you. This may be a bold take by me here. The s'mores is an overrated item. Like you make it, like it's fun to do.
I don't understand the s'more.
It's fun to do, but it never.
I don't understand it.
Comes out
Ray's
good.
looking at me like I'm a communist.
No, I was just shaking my head because as soon as Bill said, I have a bold take here, I knew he was going to be, s'mores aren't that good.
Well, no, it's not that the flavor. Like, if you buy.
You didn't think it was going to be that intellectual? Is that what you're
pretty
saying?
much.
No,
Yeah.
like, Ray, I'm sure.
Those marshmallows are empty calories.
No,
what do they really
that's
provide
not-
you?
that's not what I
No
mean.
energy from those things.
That's not what I mean. They are empty calories. But it's not what I mean. If you go to the ballpark and you get that new s'mores quesadilla.
That's too much for me.
Well, I'm sure that tastes phenomenal, but it's done for you. The whole process of making your own s'mores, I'm saying they're overrated. They never come out that good. They get all over the place. You're spilling chocolate. The marshmallows sticking to your hands.
Yeah, I'm an a la carte guy when it comes to that. I'll just, put the marshmallow on, roast the marshmallow, and then I'll eat the chocolate bar by itself.
You're a roasted weenie?
No, I have not roasted a weenie.
No.
See, I don't do that either because too many carcinogens in there. You can't roast the weenie with the toxic.
Well, so I bought.
Coming up.
Maybe this is just marketing, it's not real. But I bought logs that specifically say that they're safe to cook over.
Really? Okay. How do you start the fire?
With a match, I guess.
What else? How do you start your fire? Because I use one of those little.
Are you putting the little
blocks?
Gasoline thing? Oh yeah,
Yeah, those little fire starter blocks. Well, they're toxic. So you
gotta be careful cooking over.
So you don't cook over.
Curious, Bill. How many times do you start the fire?
I haven't done it yet. I just got the fire pit. So now I'm thinking, man, did I not get the proper tools?
Have you not started a fire yet in the pit?
I just bought it.
Well, how do you plan? How are you planning to start the fire?
Well, I bought an actual. It's not wood logs. I bought the pre-done, like almost. I don't think it's the Duraflame brand. But that specifically for
like a log with a hole in it.
Yeah, it's in a bag. You light the corners of the bag.
It's toxic.
No, it says on there specifically.
Yeah, that's BS.
Non-toxic for roasting.
How would it
food.
light if it doesn't have any petrol in it?
All right. You know what? The kids aren't getting s'mores. Forget it.
You know who's
we'll
starting
use
the
it
fire?
for warmth.
You know who's starting the fire?
Father-in-law's coming over.
Your father-in-law's coming over.
If you took a block of wood, right? Could you light it with one of those Bic lighters?
No, I got the big one.
That's what I'm saying. So whatever you're lighting in the bag has to have some kind of fuel in it.
I'm going to take a picture. I'll send it to you this weekend. It specifically says on there.
Nobody is going to take a big piece of wood and try to light it. You need something to spur a fire. Like a lot of people will use newspaper, and they'll put it under some. Kindling. And so when you light the newspaper, you get flame, and then the kindling lights up, and then you can put a log on top of it.
We just saved you from so much disappointment from your kids.
Bill's he's like,
no, look, I'm
he's
at
Googling how to start a fire.
No, I'm looking at it. Like these ones specifically say that they're safe for cooking hot dogs and s'mores.
That's fine. Tell me how they light.
They're in a bag.
I get it. The bag is only going to light so much. Then the item has to light. The bag will light, but unless it has fuel, it's not going to sustain.
It says it does. It says it does.
Start the fire.
Anyway, I'll show you. I'll show you how it's done.
I don't know how it could be done. I really don't.
We need to get you a Boy Scout badge.
Yeah,
for
I've been
this.
starting fires for my whole life. I got a story to tell too. This is great. I don't think he'd mind it. My previous producer, Jason Martinez, who you hear on the hockey broadcast, right? He married a lovely lady, but she's like a frontierswoman. Like she's from rural PA. So I had a party in my backyard a long time ago. It was late at night and trying to get a fire going. I didn't have anything to start a fire with. She started a fire with 2 sticks.
Did she really?
Yeah, yes.
That's not easy.
Yes, she started a fire with 2 sticks and a piece of newspaper.
That is not easy.
That was, we saw it in awe.
So wait,
Anthony Gargano was there like, damn, Bo.
Wait, not even with the fire starter, just like the 1 stick and doing it real quick and then blowing.
I don't know how she did. Yeah, she was blowing on it. You're getting some spark, and it was a newspaper in there, and the thing lit.
Magnifying glass under the sun?
No, it wasn't a magnifying glass. She did 2 sticks, got a spark somehow, and blew it, and that's a skill.
That is a skill. Yes. You ever watch that show, I think it's called Alone, where they like drop you in the woods and you got to survive. You ever seen that show?
What show's that?
I think it's called Alone.
Naked and Famous, or what is it
Similar,
called? Naked and.
But they dropped them in the woods, and you're allowed
Yeah.
to bring certain items.
Yeah.
And you'd only get like to pick a few, and most people
Could you survive in a
pick a
while?
fire starter. Most people. would do.
Yeah. Fire's king.
Yeah.
Fire and water. It's two magnificent substances that we have on Earth. Could you camp out there? Could you be a survivalist, Bill?
Dude, I'd be calling for help in 3 hours. I'd be starving in 3 hours.
Because
they also have no food. They got to hunt, they got to kill something, and then
Bill would bring this block of wood that he just bought that he thought would start.
I'm telling you, this wood is made to start a fire. I'm telling you.
It's got to be. It's got to be soaked with some kind of a fuel.
So then it's false advertising.
Well, I don't know. Maybe
It specifically says
it burns out, and that's when they say you can use it. But there's no way that the fire would sustain in a bagged piece of wood unless there was fuel involved.
I'm going to take a picture of the advertising for you when I get home.
Bill, if you were on Alone, Kind bar box or fire starter?
I mean, the smarter choice would be the fire starter.
But your choice.
Bill can survive on bark, though. It's the same thing. The stuff he eats is bark anyway.
Yeah, dude. There's no. I would never sign up for that show.
610-632. Well, it will give you a chance to walk around with no shirt. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies split the doubleheader. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies split yesterday's doubleheader with the Braves, taking 2-3 in the series over Atlanta. The afternoon game was Rafael Marchand's show, hitting a home run, driving in 3 runs, throwing a runner out in the 9th inning, helping lead the Phillies to a 5-4 win. The nightcap was a rare poor start from Zach Wheeler. The Braves won the game 9-3. Bryce Harper did not play in either game, and Rob Thompson offered little update on him post-game.
I mean, he's going to miss a few games, I would think. Moving forward, I don't know. We'll check it out tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be it's not an IL or anything like that.
So we'll see what his status is for the weekend as the Brewers come to town. Rhys Hoskins and the Brewers in town for a 3-game set tonight. DL Hall opening up the game for the Brewers. Taijuan Walker getting the start for the Phillies. 6:45 down at Citizens Bank Park and down in South Philadelphia. The Eagles hitting the field again today. 3rd day of OTAs for them as they continue through Phase 3 of the offseason. This weekend, the Union in Dallas. You better listen to that game. Union FC Dallas, Saturday night, 7:30, right here on The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by WhatsApp. On WhatsApp, your personal messages stay private because your personal messages are yours. No one else can see or hear them, not even WhatsApp. WhatsApp, message privately with everyone. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for NBA playoff action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
97.5, The Fanatic. You can get in 610-632-0975. And that's either by call or by text. So let's start it out. Let's go see if the text board is humming early, right? We got any humming texts?
Yeah,
Texas
Derek checking in here. Mike just loves hating on Rojas when JT can't step up. Him and Bohm always hitting into double plays. All the big money makers need to hit in September and beyond. Bottom line.
Oh, good. So you got an alternative for JT? I don't know. You want to make Marchand the everyday catcher? Like, before you write a text like that, you got to go, what can I do about JT? You can't do anything about it. You can do something about Rojas. Rojas is 3 for 30. 3 for his last 30. For crying out loud. What are you missing? You going to stick up for Rojas? What is he, T.J. McConnell all of a sudden?
It's the same argument, though, from last season. When you have a lineup like this, Rojas shouldn't be the reason why you win or lose games. Your 9-hole hitter should not be the reason why you win or lose baseball games. So if he truly is this excellent fielder, which we've seen at times, other times he leaves you scratch your head, you shouldn't need your 9-hole hitter to produce at an extremely high level.
You shouldn't turn the lineup over ever with
And
your
he
9-hole
can.
hitter?
You say ever. He can.
3 for his last 30, Bill. What's that? You want to do math on that?
Probably
Do the
100.
math.
Probably 100.
Yeah, it's exactly 100. Bill.
Yeah. But look. Hey, you see that?
Check out the big brain on Bill.
You see that?
Correct.
See, I think the bigger issue is you brought Max Kepler here because you thought he could be an everyday
So did you.
player. And I still would like to see them give him a shot. I mean, he's only had 34 at-bats against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, he gets more of a shot, though. I mean, they don't use Wilson in a straight platoon.
Yeah, I don't know the last time they started.
Even if they do, why would you be bugged by that? Because he's your boy.
I don't want Dubs to be
You don't want Dubs to be a regular platoon guy?
He's a bench bat. That's why I see him. He's a piece off the bench. But I got to know if Kepler can be an everyday player out in left field. And then if that's the case, I think this lineup's fine if you want to platoon Rojas and Marsh.
Kepler cannot be an everyday player in left field, nor can any of their center fielders. So if we're talking about, if Dombrowski's talking about they need more internal improvement, I don't know what he's looking at. These guys are what they are. There's no room for great expansion on their abilities.
Oh, one player I would say, not in terms of average, but in terms of power, would be Castellanos. Like Castellanos is doing great. He's hitting 288.
He doesn't hit for power anymore.
He's only got 4 home runs, I think, this season.
Yeah.
So he's a guy that maybe can improve from that aspect. But look, it's when you have a pitching staff like they do, you have a starting rotation like they do, if you can improve the bullpen, even if this lineup doesn't have a single change to it, I still think that they would be good enough. I'm not guaranteeing it, but they would be good enough to make a run in October.
Yeah, okay. We shall see about that. Let's before we go back to the phones and back to the text board, it is time for us to start what I call now the Scrubs Howard spelling bee.
Oh boy,
not the Scribs.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
That's right.
He can't play.
the Scrubs Howard spelling bee, featuring Bill Colarulo, who can be saved by Big Brain on Ray. All right.
We'll see if I can.
All right, so
if I could beat Johan Rojas' average in the last 30.
We'll see if you can. I'm betting on you. How about that?
Yeah, people.
I think you get a bad rap.
I would say no.
When it comes to spelling. Ray is not betting on you. Ray is sharpening the knife so he can answer all these questions.
I'm not allowed to write it down, right? That would be.
You can write it down. You can write it down. If you don't know how to spell it, what's good is it going to do? Write it down. All right, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. The first word should be a simple one. Technician, as in the sentence, my GCFI blew up, and I had to call in an electrical technician to fix it. Even though that's a lie, I fixed it myself. But that's beside the point. Technician is the word, Bill.
Technician. TECHNICIAN. Technician.
Correct! Bill! With one on the board.
1 for 1, baby.
Right? What, did you have that? Him getting that one?
I did have him getting that one.
All right. Starts off with
that was an easy one.
Relatively an easy one.
That was an easy one.
All right. Good work by you. All right. Let's go to the phones. So our leadoff hitter is today, as he is most days. He's the great Greg from Bethlehem. Hello, Greg from Bethlehem. What's up? Hello, Greg.
Hey, how did you know it was me?
Well, it says it on my computer screen.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
How how's the fire wizard doing over there? Is he,
Hold on, Greg. Before you go on, during the break, I found the exact item that I purchased. It specifically says that all you have to do is light both ends of the wrapper. Stack the two logs in an X configuration, light the wrappers, and it says it's completely safe for cooking. All right? So this is on the unless they're false advertising, I'm correct here. I will not allow my fire starting ability to be questioned, even though I haven't done it yet.
well, far be it for me to impugn your abilities there. There is a wood called basswood that you can buy in little sticks that you can directly light with a match without.
That's not what he has. Greg, let me put this plainly. When you light, like I have those little brick things that call fire starters. I also light it with a match. But the reason why it lights is because it is saturated with some kind of accelerant, right? That's what caused the fire. Bill is saying that he's doing the same thing with this block that he has purchased. There is no way the block could be a type of wood that isn't saturated with a repellent to start a fire. You just can't start a fire because it's wrapped in paper.
That's what it says.
You can't do
it. It even says, specifically designed and tested for roasting campfire foods. The log burns more efficiently
how does the log
than regular
light? Wood. How does the log light is my question to you. Do you realize you can't just light a log?
Here's what it says. 100% USDA certified from recyclable and renewable wood and agricultural fibers combined with bio-derived waxes.
Okay, so the bio-derived waxes apparently is the accelerant.
It must be.
I don't know what a bio-derived wax is, and maybe it's non-toxic, but there is something in that block that makes it light.
I will report back when we don't get rain.
All right. Go ahead, Greg. Sorry, I digress.
Well, that's all right. It's always good to go off on a tangent once in a while.
Yeah.
I thought Thursday's games, we didn't learn a whole lot, but I was really impressed with Marchand. He hit the ball well. He has a cannon, and his defense is pretty good. I don't know how well he calls games. Do you have any feeling on that?
Yeah, apparently he's a person pretty defensively sound, but I wouldn't get carried away, Greg. I mean, this is a guy that only can play one every 4 days. He's a backup catcher, and like I don't go any further than that. He had a nice game yesterday. That doesn't mean that he's really a solid player.
Well, I agree. You can't extrapolate that to an entire career, but wouldn't you give him an opportunity sooner rather than later to see if he can repeat?
No. No, no, he's not impressive enough to me offensively where I can play him a lot.
Well, he hasn't been, but I always go by the most recent episode.
Yeah, I can tell. He hit a home run yesterday in the first row. I got you.
Well, maybe he's turning the corner. Who knows?
You picked the weirdest people, man. I swear to God.
Well,
Marchand's not going to be the difference between the Phils winning or losing the pennant.
I favor the underdog.
I know you do. I can tell. All right, man. You got it, Greg. Here it is. I knew. Yeah. I knew we were going to get Greg called. Hey, what about this Marchand?
We had a great game.
He had a nice game. He threw out a runner and he hit a home run.
But you're right. You only need him one every 5 days.
Yeah, it was a close play at second. He's got a nice arm.
But he helps win that game. 3 RBIs. The good play at second.
I swear to God, give me you're tired, you're poor, you're hungry, huddled masses yearning to be free. You're just like Greg.
I'm not saying Marchand should be
you love the underdog, don't you?
No, but when he comes in and he plays like he does.
Nice job. Next 4 games, you think he's going to do that?
No.
All right, 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Philadelphia Union Soccer.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, truth serum. Truth serum for Philadelphia fans. The Phillies are ranked very highly right now. In their current form. This is, you don't make any moves at all. What they have offensively, what they have defensively, what they have with the pitching staff. Do you see them as highly ranked as they are now in the power rankings? Meaning, should they play the Yankees in the World Series? Because they're the first two teams that are ranked. They're number 1 and number 2 in the power rankings. Is that real or is that Memorex?
I think they were going to have to make a couple of moves because I told you I thought the lineup itself would be good enough. I'm not going to hate it if they bring in a right-hander for that lineup. But my concern, it's the bullpen because I gave you some stats earlier about the month of May and how they're 19-7 and all these things. Prior to yesterday, part of the reason this team has been so successful in the month of May, not only because of the opponents they've played, but because Romano, Kerkering, and Strahm combined had a 2.45 ERA in 29 and a third innings pitched in the month of May. But even if those three guys don't fall apart like you saw Strahm do yesterday and you almost saw Romano do in Game 1, that was wild. 3 walks, 1 hit, somehow doesn't give up a run. These guys are going to burn out. Like, you need somebody else that's reliable in that bullpen, and they just don't have it right now. So I get concerned.
So when Strahm blew up and they had to get the one out, you weren't that confident that Ruiz was the hammer to come in and get you to the ninth?
He did. I mean, I wasn't confident about it. He did. He gets the win in that game with pitching a third.
If you look at who followed Sanchez, Kerkering got a hold, but he gave up 2 hits in that inning. Strahm got 2 outs, give up 3 hits and 2 runs. Ruiz got the final out, and Romano did pitch a scoreless 9th inning and got a save. 3 walks and a hit, but he did strike out too.
Yeah, no idea how he got out of that inning. It didn't look good. But Ray likes to say it's the Romano Revival Tour, right? Revival Tour, is that what we're calling it, right?
Revival Tour, yeah, that's what we're going with.
And even if that's the case, even if Romano does become your closer and he's reliable, and Strahm can be your 8th inning guy, and Kerkering can be your 7th inning guy.
Let me stop you right here. Do you trust that, what you just said? When you mention those 3 names, what is your level of trust, or percentage-wise?
Oh, man, that's a tough question because we've seen the best and we've seen the worst of Jordan Romano and even Orion Kerkering. See, I would probably put it at, let's say, 51% trust. But
51?
I'm going higher.
Oh, my God.
But here's the issue I have with it. They're going to burn out. They're going to pitch too many innings, and you're going to need them in October. So that's the concern here. You can't expect, like you had said the other day, when Ranger goes 7, or Ranger went 6, excuse me.
Who gets the 7th?
Who gets the 7th? But look at Wheeler. When you had to take him out of the game yesterday.
Who gets the 5th?
What are you doing?
I hear you. Now, that's not going to happen a lot to Wheeler, all right? It is going to happen to Sanchez. It may happen to Ranger. So you're going to need those middle innings. But I'm not talking about those anymore. I was obsessed with those kind of pitchers before. I'm now looking at the back end and seeing whether it's good enough. The back end is Romano, Strahm, and Kerkering. That's it.
That is it.
And you said you have 51% approval rating on that.
I'm leaning, well, only because of what we saw. Like I said, before yesterday, in the month of May, these guys have been extremely, extremely effective. So I'm going off of what we watched over the last 30 days. Now, yesterday, not great. But Romano has looked better. I know he had that little hiccup with the Athletics as well, but we're blaming the mound, right, Ray?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're blaming the mound.
All right, let me go to Ray. Ray, I'll ask you the same question. Percentage approval on the 3 guys that we're talking about.
Romano,
the
Strahm,
back end guys. The back end guy.
Kerkering. 50?
Wow. So you're below Bill.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Kerkering's been better, which has been nice to see, but I still don't necessarily love the fact that I'm giving so much high leverage situations to him. Strahm's, It's just honestly right now, it's the fact that he's not a high velocity guy. Like I lost my high velocity left hander. I understand he has done wonders. He somehow owns Ohtani. He has found a way to get outs.
I don't know
as a
how he does.
reliever.
I really don't know how he does it, but you're right. He finds a way to get outs. He didn't last night.
Yeah, to me, it's a little bit of like that early. Do I believe everything I've seen so far? Or is it gonna is that all gonna play out? Romano's the one that honestly, at this point, what he's clicked into after April has been great. And I have started to trust that because I think early on the tipping pitches thing was probably true. He finally found that strength again. And yesterday, he walks 3 guys, but in his last like a dozen appearances, whatever it was after that ugly game against the Mets, he had walked like 2 guys. So I think yesterday becomes more of an anomaly than it is like the regular of what it's been over the last month. But I do feel like I'm kind of a coin flip every time they come to the game. If the ultimate thing is gut feel when a guy steps onto the mound, right now none of them give me the this game's over feeling.
Which leads to the bigger question: can this lineup, without touching a piece of it, win a World Series?
Oh yeah, I need a right-handed bat,
and you might need another pitcher.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, we'll talk about this. When Dave Dombrowski says they don't necessarily need a closer, okay, you need, though, a pitcher with closer stuff as the back end of that bullpen right now. All right, we'll talk about it. We'll also discuss a possible trade. A lot of people are talking about bringing home one of our favorite sons and sticking him in the lineup to add a little pop. Mike Missanelli Show continues on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies split the doubleheader. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies split yesterday's doubleheader with the Braves, taking 2 of 3 for Atlanta in the overall series. The afternoon game was Rafael Marchand's show, hitting a home run, driving in 3 runs, throwing out a runner in the 9th to help preserve a 5-4 lead, get the Phillies the win. The nightcap was a rare poor start from Zach Wheeler, and the Braves won the game 9-3. Bryce Harper did not play in either game, and Rob Thompson offered a little update on him post-game.
I mean, he's going to miss a few games, I would think. Moving forward, I don't know. We'll check it out tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be it's not an IL or anything like that.
We'll see if he plays this weekend against the Brewers. Milwaukee in town for a 3-game set. First game is 6:45 tonight. DL Hall, the opener for the Brewers. Taijuan Walker getting the start for the Phillies. Elsewhere in South Philadelphia, day 3 of OTAs today for the Birds. They wrap up that first week of OTAs. They'll get back out onto the field. Next week, the reporters will get a chance one more time to get a look at everything going on there. And the Union in Dallas this Saturday. Union, of course, top of the table in the Eastern Conference. They've got FC Dallas 7:30 on Saturday. You catch that game right here on The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Macy's Backstage. What we find at Macy's Backstage, how about essential warm weather styles, $30 and under, like dresses, shoes, and bags, men's and kids' looks. Find the latest trends, new arrivals, and great prices at Macy's Backstage near you. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for NBA playoff action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
10:54, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. Back to the text board, and then we're back to our Scrubs Howard spelling bee. Bill with one on the board.
1 for 1. Batting 1,000, Ray
the
Dunn.
text board measuring any World Series feel. I've thrown it out there. In this current configuration, and the Phillies win.
Unnamed text here. The whole bullpen was damn horrific yesterday, and I see a lot more of those dates coming throughout the summer than being good. They have a tough schedule for the next 6 weeks, too.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll see. People seem to evaluate, nationally, people are evaluating the Phillies very well. Power rankings number 2, that's nothing to sneeze at.
And I think they're number 2 in the athletic power rankings. If I'm not mistaken, they're number 1 according to MLB power rankings.
Yeah, MLB.com has the number 1, but our unnamed texter here from Florida says, 0 chance you could trust this bullpen in the playoffs. If we're being honest, it's horrendous what we have with the back end of our pen and with our offense. Bill needs to take off the red-colored glasses.
Oh,
I think it's the first time you've ever been called a Phillies homer.
I know, because I was anti the way this team was built going into the postseason last year. Look, I want to see them do something to the bullpen. I think we all agree. See, here's the crazy thing.
You're a man who has a lot of – this is very unusual because you have a lot of faith in what they are. Although you just said 51%, which throws me because you think they're fine with Kepler and Wilson and Marsh and Rojas and Romano and Strom.
I said 51. I said 51% with the Romano, Kerkering, Strom back end of the pen because I'm afraid they get overworked before October comes if they don't do something to help them in that bullpen. But we also know there is help coming, and you played the clip earlier with Dombrowski talking about how starters are going to be moved to the pen. We know Walker will move once Nola comes back up. Now, an interesting thing that happened in our YouTube chat with our own Ray Dunn, you and I keep assuming the left-handed arm going to the pen would be Ranger Suarez. Mm-hmm. Ray is floating the idea of Christopher Sanchez being the starter that goes to the pen. Ray, make that case because this is an interesting one.
Yeah, it was pointed out to me yesterday that he hasn't thrown more than 90 pitches in a start since that weird Mets start in April where he goes like 2 or 3 innings, and it was, at that point, is something wrong with Christopher Sanchez, something wrong with his elbow, are we going to monitor it, what's going to happen with him? Since that time, he hasn't thrown more than 90 pitches in a start, and when you really think about the back-end guy that they need, we keep talking velocity. If there's a guy that could see an uptick that would actually make him that dangerous in that type of scenario, it probably wouldn't be Suarez, it would be Sanchez. Do I think it's their likely path towards it? No, but I think he's probably the dark horse. I think Ranger Suarez seems like the obvious one for a lot of us because he's played in that situation before. He's been a bullpen guy before. But when you talk about the stuff that you're looking for out of the back end of a bullpen for a left-hander right now, Sanchez fits that profile
actually
more.
A very good point. The only problem with that is, and you're right, he's got upper 90s back end of bullpen stuff that would play. His command is not as solid as Ranger Suarez's. Ranger Suarez's command, which is very important for a reliever. Now, you're going to throw a guy in there in a really high leverage spot. You better make sure he's got good command.
And that he's ready for that type of moment. Like, I don't know how he reacts coming in with runners on base.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That would influence his command. But it is something to think about. If they're desperate enough to do that, they would probably have to do it. All right, let's move on to this rumor that a lot of people pick up on. Rhys Hoskins. Right-handed power bat, the configuration would be completely different. I don't know. I guess you can make him a DH at times. You want to play Schwarber in left field, but pretty much you would have to move Bryce Harper to an outfield spot and then maybe move Castellanos to left field or have Harper play left field. I don't know which they think would be the better scenario. They would have to make a roster move as well, and what would they do with that roster move? Are we really believing that would be a good upgrade? Are fans believing that? Rhys is a very popular player.
I think fans would love it because Rhys is a popular player, and you're right. It does satisfy that right-handed power bat. I would just have a hard time believing that they would do that because, you'd have to move Bryce to the outfield. And then, I know you're probably going to be anti this, but does Max Kepler become your center fielder in that situation? So if you brought in Rhys Hoskins, you put him at first. You put Bryce Harper in either left or right and Castellanos in either left or right. Well, now those guys are everyday players. Does Max Kepler slide to center
Yeah, it hurts your defense.
It hurts your defense, but I guess late in games, do you bring in Rojas?
And
then you trade Marsh.
But here's the other question. What would it be the cost? Reese is having a good season. He's hitting .282 with 7 bombs and 29 home runs. He got 48 hits. And we're going to see him this weekend. And obviously, that's why we're talking about him. And you're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show on WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. We're broadcasting from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. So he would be a right-handed power bat. He would definitely improve your lineup. And the only thing is, could you live with Bryce Harper being moved back to the outfield? And would he be welcoming that with open arms?
Yeah, he didn't want to do that when they let Reese hit free agency and go to Milwaukee. So would he be willing to do it now? Now, we keep going back to that article. I forget who it was, Ray. Was it Rosenthal? Was it Stark? Who was it that had that article about in the offseason when Harper said he would have moved to the outfield for Pete Alonso?
Rosenthal, I believe.
Was it Rosenthal? So that's where I think we're getting this idea that that Bryce would, in fact, do it. Look, if the Brewers are out of it, they're going to be willing to trade him because he's in the final year of his deal. There is a mutual option for next year. I don't know. You think Bryce would do it for Reese? He said he would do it for Pete Alonso. Would he do it for Reese Hoskins?
Who would you get? Okay, he's going to be a free agent, right? So he doesn't have a lot of value for a prospect, but they wouldn't give him away either.
He's 32. Mm-hmm. Would they do it for...
Would it cost you Abel?
Like, would you do it for Brandon Marsh and Mick Abel? Would you do it in that situation? Or Rojas and Abel, one of those guys? Because you're not going to have enough... You got to get rid of Rojas and Marsh, or you would...
Mick Abel is the luxury at this point, right? So I wouldn't cry crocodile tears if I had to include him in the deal. Rojas and Abel to bring Reese back?
Yeah. Would you do it?
I think I would.
But you got to get Harper on board.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's contingent on Harper. How many people would do that? How many people out there in radio land, and we'll hear from the text board, and your call 610-632-0975. Reese Hoskins for Abel and Rojas and or Marsh.
Here's the one dilemma with that, though. If you trade Abel for Reese Hoskins, you can't trade Abel for a bullpen arm. So I don't want to sacrifice building back that bullpen now that Alvarado's done by giving up maybe one of your best prospects. I don't want to give up Aiden Miller. I don't want to give up Justin Crawford. I don't want to give up Andrew Painter. So is your best trade chip in the farm system Mick Abel? And if you do it for a right-handed bat, you can't do it for a right-handed reliever. I'd rather see them do it for a right-handed reliever.
You would.
And just roll with Kepler, Marsh, and Rojas.
You think that the higher priority will be a back-end relief pitcher that rather than more pop in your lineup?
Yes. Especially a guy that strikes out a lot.
All right. 610-632-0975. It is time to continue our Scrubs Howard spelling bee.
Oh, boy. Here we go. 1 for 1. The pressure, Ray. Now I know how you must feel every Wednesday for general knowledge.
Bill, the word is astringent, as in Melania Trump must find a really good astringent to clean off her makeup before she retires to bed with a sloppy, stinky man.
All right. I'm not 100% confident, but here we go. Astringent.
Yes.
ESTRINGENT. Astringent.
Incorrect. Astringent. ASTRINGENT.
Is it really an A?
It's an A.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
Bill,
He can't play.
You are 1 for 2.
Ray, was that an embarrassing misspelling? I feel like that's a tough word.
Totally embarrassing. That's a word everyone uses every single day. How do you not know how to spell that?
Astringent.
Astringent. That's a bad one on my part. Now, Dawood wants Ray to spell frustrated, he said in the YouTube chat.
Ray can spell it. He just can't.
ANNOYED. Annoyed. Annoyed is the word.
That was a tough one. That was
astringent was tough?
Yeah.
That was not tough. You got the whole thing right except for the first letter.
Damn it. I should have asked you the nationality, origin of the word.
I'm surprised you know, my sentence you didn't have that little chuckle about, but that's okay. I'm used to not getting the chuckle.
I'm locked in, dude. I'm not going to give you the McCarthy chuckle when I'm locked in.
I know. I thought it was actually chuckle worthy, but apparently not. All right, back to the text board. Any Reese text so far come flying in here, Ray?
We had Hoskins and your GM Harper. Let him walk. I'm out.
We had Hoskins and what?
And your GM, Harper, let him walk. I'm out.
Oh, that's a little anti-Bryce.
What does that mean?
Text. They're saying that the reason he hit free agency to begin with was because Bryce Harper didn't want him here. But that doesn't say whether they would want Reese back, though.
I don't think Bryce Harper didn't want him here. He just didn't want to accommodate first base for right field.
And last year, it looked like it was the right move. Reese hit 214, I think, last year.
Yeah.
The texter said I'm out, so they're out. I assume that's in reference to Hoskins, that they would not want Hoskins.
They would not want Hoskins.
Mike in Warminster, though. Absolutely, I would be all for it. Harper back to right. That was the original plan, I thought, when we got him. Harper right, Castian left. You would tell Harper you want to win or not.
See, I don't know if I would have Harper in right. That messes up two positions, and I'm not so sure that his arm in right field, it would be conducive for his arm in right field.
So you'd put him in left?
I would probably think that he would be better suited for left and right at this stage of his career.
And then that leads me to, then Kepler has to play center. But now your outfield's got...
Or he could platoon with your boy, 3 for 30.
Well, yeah, he would be your defensive substitution, I think. But that outfield's got some pop, though, now. Harper, Kepler, Castellanos.
It's not a great defensive outfield, however.
Not a great defensive outfield.
All right. You know who surprises me as a defender? Because he doesn't look like he can defend at all. Castellanos.
Well, they tweaked him. Remember? They moved it where every single time he's coming into his left. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
He's always coming into his left. He feels more comfortable doing that. That was a good tweak that's helped him. Because he was a terrible fielder before, going back a couple years ago.
All right. 610-632-0975. We got more Reese texts coming in, and we'd love to discuss it with you at 610-632-0975. As the Scrubs Howard Spelling Bee continues, Bill hitting 500 right now. We're back after this.
We want to hear from you, so text us at 610-
Texts are coming in on Rhys Hoskins. Now, there are two questions on the board here for Philly fans. Number one, in this current configuration, what is your confidence level, percentage-wise, that the Phillies will play in the World Series? They don't make any moves. This is what they are. Dave Dombrowski said we don't necessarily need a closer. He also says the offense, it's more about internal improvement than anything, which I don't really agree with because I think these guys are what they are. I don't know if there's that much room for internal improvement from certain guys. These guys have established themselves over the last couple of years. This is what they are, right? A guy like Kepler, there's no magic potion that's going to make him more than what he is. He came here as a 240 hitter.
Yeah, the magic potion for Kepler was the hope when he had that abdominal surgery that maybe he could get that power back from a couple years ago. And we've seen flashes of it. And we have seen flashes of it. And he's hitting close to 290 in the last week, but not against lefties.
Now, Dombrowski was also asked about, this has nothing to do with the angst that we're currently going on. The two-part angst is, are they good enough to win the World Series? And B, would you trade for Rhys Hoskins? Kyle Schwarber extension. Now, we've talked about it a long time, and I go, this is the biggest no-brainer I've ever seen. You're talking about a guy with 45 home run power. They don't grow on trees. So if you have a guy like that, you better damn well keep him. And he's still kind of in his prime as a home run hitter. So this is what Dombrowski had to say about extending Kyle Schwarber.
Schwarber has been fantastic for us 4 years. We've made it to the postseason the previous 3, and I hope again we do it this year. He's not only a quality performer, he's a clubhouse, he's a gamer, he's what you want out of club. I mean, we'd love to keep him as part of the organization for the long term, there's no doubt. We'll see where that takes us. He's putting up big numbers, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of other clubs that are interested in him too, but we'd love to keep him part of the organization and hope that it happens.
Well, that's a non-answer answer, for crying out loud. Other teams are going to want him too. You know how you can prevent that? Frickin' sign him now.
Yeah, at the start of the year, I think Ray and I tossed around this topic together, and I'm like, nah, I would wait until the end of the season. Let's stay flexible, because if you come up short again, you want to maybe make some wholesale changes. Nah, pay him now. I'm with you.
He's in a different category.
Yeah, he's here no matter what, in my opinion. He needs to be a part of, even if you make changes, not him.
You can't make the case for anybody else on that team who does that much for your lineup as a guy who could step up there and hit it out of the yard any single time.
Did you see that home run he hit yesterday in the first game?
He's a blaster. You don't let blasters go. I'm stunned that the teams that have had him have let him go.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Phillies paid him well when they got him a few years ago.
He just mashes.
I mean, it was only, where did he come from? The Cubs? Yeah, he didn't play anywhere else, did he?
Yeah, he played in Boston. He played at the Nationals.
That's right.
They got him from the Red Sox.
Yeah, he went from Chicago
to Washington and then to the Red Sox.
All within like a year, though.
Yeah.
Right? Like he was mainly with the Cubs, and then it was like 1 year Boston, Washington, and then he came here.
He was drafted by the Cubs.
Yeah. Yeah, I would sign him. I mean, we know he's the leader in that clubhouse too, and now he's hitting left-handed pitching too.
Let's go back to the text board with the Rhys text coming. This is very interesting that people would want to add, because this kind of upsets the apple cart. You got to move 3 different positions here.
All right, texter chiming in here all day, every day. Rojas and Abel for Rhys. Still got Painter and Miller. Do it, Dombo.
All right, so Rojas and or Marsh. You keep Rojas for a late inning replacement since you have Kepler?
I mean, you could also use Marsh in that same situation, but do you want the righty instead of having 2 lefties in center with Kepler and Marsh? I mean, either way. But again,
Marsh or White Belt for Mick Abel and Mick Abel and White Belt
for Rhys. But again, what about the pen? So now, okay, you're trading Abel for Rhys Hoskins. You're maneuvering 3 positions in the outfield, like you said. You still got to address the bullpen somehow.
Ranger?
Well, who's going to take Ranger on a rental?
Well, it's a relief pitcher, though.
Or do you have to give up?
Give you a relief pitcher for a potential starter that you can resign.
Or do you have to give up another big prospect?
No, you wouldn't give up another big. At that point, you wouldn't give up another big prospect.
I don't see Ranger bringing you a really solid reliever.
Oh, I think you can. I think you get a solid reliever for him.
It's a rental. Why would a team do it?
Doesn't matter. The relief pitchers are expendable.
Yeah, but if we're going to wait closer to the deadline, like let's just look at the Baltimore Orioles, right? Because Felix Bautista's name gets floated around. Why would Baltimore trade Bautista for Ranger?
We've been over this before. Baltimore still has a young team. They still have a young core of good players. I don't know what's happened to them, but maybe Ranger becomes part of their starting rotation future.
Yeah, but they still have to sign him. Why would you give up Bautista to do that? Just sign him in the offseason.
You don't need Bautista. You're not a contender right now. You don't need a closer. You're trying to build a team.
But you got team control for another 2 years.
But again, he's a closer. What are you closing? Last place?
Look, if Ranger was under contract for a couple years, I would agree with you that would make sense for a team.
I don't think you're listening to me. It's still a young team, okay? A young team still has a foundation. You need a starting rotation to accommodate your rotation. You would sign Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, you're assuming that a team would trade for Ranger, give up value in their pen because they think they could re-sign him. What I'm saying is, why not just wait to sign him in free agency then? Just because you get him for the end of the year doesn't mean you're going to be able to re-sign him.
I get it, but some other people are going to be. Once you get him in free agency, then the other teams come in there for him, and then they outbid you. If you make the trade for him, you can start the negotiations right away.
Yeah, but knowing that his agent, Scott Boras, knowing that this is the first time where he gets to really hit free agency, why? If I'm Ranger Suarez, there's no way in hell I'm going to a team at the deadline and signing an extension until I get a taste of free agency.
What do the Baltimore Orioles have to lose by giving you their closer? What do they have to lose?
They lose their closer.
For
maybe a rental that they don't need.
They're in last place. What's he closing?
That's what I'm saying, though. But you
don't need a closer when you're in last place.
No, but Bautista's under team control for 2 more years. Ranger's not.
Forget about the team control. He's a relief pitcher. He's a closer that they don't need. Who cares about the control?
Because why would they trade for Ranger, who they're going to lose as well?
God, I swear to God,
you're assuming they could re-sign him.
You make my head spin. I'm just saying to get the jump on signing him. All right, on the other side, Bill, his third word in the Scrubs Howard spelling bee. That's coming up after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Bills split the doubleheader. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. Phillies split yesterday's doubleheader with the Braves, taking 2 of 3 from Atlanta in the series. The afternoon game was Rafael Marchan's show, hitting a home run, driving in 3 runs, and throwing a runner out in the 9th. The nightcap was a rare poor start from Zach Wheeler. The Braves won the game 9-3. Bryce Huff did not play in either game, and Rob Thompson offered little update on him after the game.
I mean, he's going to miss a few games, I would think. Moving forward, I don't know. We'll check it out tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be. It's not an IL or anything like that.
We'll see if he plays this weekend against the Brewers. Milwaukee in town for a 3-game set starting tonight at 6:45 down at Citizens Bank Park. DL Hall opening up the game tonight for the Brewers. Taijuan Walker getting the start for the Phillies. Down there in South Philadelphia, Eagles hit the field again today, day 3 of OTAs. They continue to work through their offseason. And this weekend down in Dallas, it's FC Dallas hosting your first place Union. You'll be able to listen to the call of that game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic, 7:30 on Saturday night. This update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. The Mercedes-Benz Dream Days are back with offers on vehicles like the 2025 E-Class, CLE Coupe, C-Class, and EQE sedan. Hurry in now through July 31st. Learn more at mbusa.com/dream. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for NBA playoff action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
11:25, Mike Missanelli Show, 610-632-0975. It's a Friday show. Love to hear from you at that number. And it's, of course, our text number as well. We're getting a lot of texts. What about the chat board? The chat board must be humming crazy with this Rhys Hoskins thing, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would like Rhys back. A trade proposal that just got floated was, we were talking about trading Abel and Rojas for Rhys, but would you trade Abel and Rojas for Felix Bautista? Would you rather fix the bullpen and get that closer from the Baltimore Orioles? You got to give up a prospect and Johan Rojas. I know you have no problem giving up Johan Rojas.
I mean, that deal is like, that's not even, you don't even think about that deal, do you? That's a no-brain deal. You wouldn't trade Abel and Rojas for Felix Bautista?
I would do it. I actually think that that's a pretty good trade for both parties. Like, I feel like that's a decent trade for Baltimore. Like, if it gets a Mick Abel, even though you hate
Cedric
Rojas.
Mullins is their center fielder. Where's Rojas going to play? Why would he be valuable to them?
Well,
maybe Marsh is more valuable.
We also talked about Cedric Mullins. And if I'm not mistaken, what's his contract like? Isn't he coming
Walk year
up?
for him.
Yeah, so he's in the final year.
So walk year.
So it's their future center fielder.
So Rojas will be their future center fielder. How would White Belt look with the orange uniform?
Oh, he would go orange belt.
Oh, would he? No, I don't think so. He's not going red belt here. He's going white belt for reasons that are still unclear to me.
Yeah, but he goes.
It has not. No beat writer has asked him about this belt.
Well, Weston Wilson was wearing a white belt yesterday too.
He was.
Now
Are you sure about that?
Yes, you got me noticing these things. Yeah, but the Phillies' white uniform's got the red pinstripe, so it makes sense.
Everybody else is wearing a red belt.
The Baltimore uniform is white, so I think he would go orange, or maybe black.
He's wearing a white uniform with pinstripes, and he's still wearing a white belt.
Yeah, because it works.
It doesn't work. The red belt works. That brings out the pinstripe. That pinstripe is red. The uniform is white.
Let me ask you a question, because one of the reasons you hate Rojas so much is because he was watching that catch.
I hate his demeanor. His demeanor is that of somebody who thinks he's an accomplished player, and he's not.
All right, so that's where the difference is going to be. Because did you see after Ozzie Albies hit the home run off of Wheeler last night, he was laughing it up watching something on the iPad.
Yeah, that's Ozzie Albies. That's not Rojas. Because Ozzie Albies is an all-star.
So that's the difference for you.
The big difference.
So you can't watch your highlights.
No, you can watch it once. When you have it in front of you like you're transfixed on how great you are when you're not great, that's what bugs me. I'm pretty easy to read, Bill,
I think
when you think about it.
I think that you know how you got on me? You told me that my hate for Dan Campbell clouded my judgment.
Well,
I think your hate for Rojas clouds your judgment.
Your hate for Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell is an accomplished coach. He's winning games and you had hatred. What is Rojas that he should have a toot about himself?
My hatred of Dan Campbell was spot on because I talked about in big moments.
He was still an accomplished coach, winning games.
He didn't win the NFC Championship game.
All right. Whatever.
Because of his bad decisions.
You're right. Rojas and Dan Campbell are on the same level.
Although, hey, let me make my public apology to Dan Campbell. He's okay in my book now.
Oh, what do you do now?
They voted to keep the tush push.
Oh, okay.
So good job by you, Dan Campbell. But I'll still hate on him for his in-game decisions.
All right, Mr. Spell. It's time for the Scrubs Howard Spelling Bee. Bill,
this man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play.
1 for 2. Stephen A. was talking about Rojas. Now, so here it is.
Wait, do we know who Stephen A. was talking about in there?
I believe it was Kwame Brown.
Gotcha.
Oh, Kwame Brown. Yeah, he was a bona fide scrub. All right. The question, the word of the day is ricochet. Ricochet, as in Jordan Romano's 55-foot slider ricocheted off the dirt and hit JT right in the nuglets.
This one's tough because I never know is it 1 C or 2 C's, but let me give you my shot here. Ricochet. RICCOCHET, ricochet.
That is correct.
Ooh, I wasn't sure about that double C,
Bill
Ray.
is 2 for 3.
Ooh, Ray, did you know the double C?
I did.
It's always tough, man.
Waiting with bated breath over here if you were going to put that second C in there.
It was also a great movie featuring John Lithgow and Denzel Washington.
Yes, I remember that movie.
And Jesse the Body Ventura as a criminal in the prison.
He was in that movie.
Who John Lithgow slayed in a knife fight.
Was that before he was governor?
I don't know.
Jesse the Body?
I think it was because he was still Jesse the Body then.
Jesse the Body Ventura.
A little cameo in there. Jesse the Body. I remember when they shot up. They shot up Denzel with heroin. They made him a heroin addict, and they blackballed him. And they threw a woman in the and he was like slurring his words, going, "Hey, Blakey."
Denzel's the man.
That movie was so ridiculous, but it was so good. It's so watchable.
Best Denzel movie of all time. What do you got? He's been in a lot of good ones.
Glory.
Ooh. That's a nice pull by you. Glory with Denzel. I asked you the question. I'm not sure what my favorite Denzel movie is. I like a lot.
Man on Fire.
That was a good movie. Not the best, but that was a good movie. Who's Dakota Fanning's in it,
Training
right?
Day?
Training Day's great.
Hold up. I'm getting some text here, and the YouTube chat's going off on this one. Ricochet. Are we sure it's 2 C's?
Oh, no.
It's definitely 2 C's.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's 2 C's.
I'm not so sure on this one.
I'm looking at it right here.
I thought it was 2 C's as well.
I'm looking at it right here. 2 C's.
No, the double C in the middle. RICCOCHET.
That's what I said.
Yes.
Yeah, there's 2 C's at the top of the.
I don't know about that one.
RICC.
Hold on. I'm checking it online now.
Definitely.
No.
What?
I think Ray's right. I think there's only one C.
Wait, what?
Oh, my goodness.
It's only one C?
According to dictionary.com.
There's only one C. Oh, we take it away.
Wait, Ray,
This
you
man
wait.
was
Saying
a
you would have gone
bona
2 C's.
scrub.
Wait,
He
whoa.
can't play.
Time out.
1 for 3.
Time out. The fact that Ray thought it was 2 C's, Mike thought it was 2 C's, I think that this gets thrown out and I should get another word.
On this list of words, it's listed as 2 C's, where I plucked it from. This is actually a spelling bee website. But if you want to get another one, we can do another one.
Well, the fact that everybody was so quick to say correct.
You want to throw that out? Oh, no. You're right. I'm sorry. That was my mistake. It only has 1 C. So you have spelled it wrong, Bill.
Yeah, but the fact that you guys got it wrong, too.
You're 1 for 3.
Now, I think I deserve another word.
What do you think, Ray?
I've lived my whole life thinking it was 2 C's.
Well, what's the ruling here?
I think we got to throw it out.
Well, we said you were correct, so why would you want it thrown out?
Well, no, he's trying to pull the point now. The point has already been awarded.
The point is pulled. He got it wrong. The point has been pulled.
I'll pull it. I mean, I'm fine with that.
Man, now I know how they feel.
All right, he got it wrong. So what should be the ruling? Should we give him another one because he got it wrong?
Yeah,
I thought it was my mistake saying it was correct. It's only 1 C.
Yeah, I'm getting texts from people saying you spelled it wrong.
Okay.
So other people do.
I thought for sure it was 2 C's.
I think you're 1 for 3, but we'll give you another one anyway.
Man.
Turmeric, as in the Indian dish needed a little spice of turmeric to complete the recipe.
I believe it's spelled turmeric. T-U-M-E-R-I-C. Turmeric.
That is incorrect. You are 1 for 4.
I know the spice.
It's turmeric. Turmeric.
Oh, I dropped the R. Damn it.
All right. Well, there you go. 1 for 4 is
I knew that.
bad. That's under 300, Bill.
Damn it. You know what's happened here? Texting has destroyed our ability
You're
to spell.
batting 250 at this particular juncture. 250.
As long as I stay above the Mendoza line, I'm fine today.
I don't think so. You got to out-hit Rojas today.
Going to call out one of our own here.
What we got?
Silvana thought she was slick at getting turmeric and also got it wrong.
Really?
Texted in turmeric, did not include the R either.
All right. So these are spellable words, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, spelling
All right,
words,
these
but they
are
got a little bit
spellable
of a challenge to them. It's a spelling bee.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
This is tough, man.
All right. I messed up.
Especially on the spot. You know, I'm nervous. I'm on the radio, you know? The nerves are going, Ray.
You're nervous? All the things you've shared with this audience, and you're nervous?
I think I've given you really good sentences.
They're not helping, though. They're not helping.
What do you mean they're not?
Like, I knew what turmeric was. I didn't need you to put it in a sentence.
Well, you asked for a sentence.
I know. Just to add to the experience for everybody else out there.
The theater of the mind.
All right. Well, there we go. We continue. Can Bill top Johan Rojas? Bill is zeroing in on the 3 for 30.
I'm embarrassed.
610-632-0975 is how you get in. The News at Noon is coming up in just a bit, so hang in there. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
Eagles' new offensive coordinator.
Show 97.5, The Fanatic, Friday, whatever your weekend plans are. I hope they're not going to be derailed by rain. Try to play a little golf on Saturday, but it looks like there's a 90% chance of rain. Wonderful. But back on the baseball diamond on Sunday morning.
Yeah, I don't know how you
I haven't played a game in over a month.
Of baseball?
Yep. Because of holidays, because of weather.
You've been hitting the cages?
Very, very infrequently.
We still haven't been able to.
You know, I can kind of get up in the morning and hit a liner.
Yeah, I haven't been able to to test my ability to hit the 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
You have not. We've invited you to come to one of these practices that we have. You've been ducking it because you get the kids.
Yeah, it's tough.
But you know, you talk a big game about being able to hit a. You're not going to get a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. You're going to get regular speed BP fastball, and I'm still saying you're going to have trouble.
I just said I would make contact. I'm not saying that I'm going to be able to drive.
You think that making contact is easy?
I don't think it's easy. I think I said 10 tries, 1 out of 10. I could make.
So
contact.
you'll get 10 batting practice pitches, and you'll hit how many? And line drives?
At least one.
You'll hit at least one line drive.
Oh, now we're going line drive. I said contact.
No. Contact is feeble. Contact doesn't count.
Well, that
That's
wasn't
just a chopper for an out.
the original
Can you
statement I
put the
made.
ball airborne in a gap, or can you hit a line drive over the?
All right, well, that's a
shortstop
different
bat?
analysis then.
Well, it's not a different
My
analysis.
original
That would
point-
be a hit.
My original point was if you threw 10 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, that I'd be able to put one in play.
Could you get a hit?
Oh, no. Probably not.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. So in BP, if you hit a ball hard, it's going to go between third and short. That would be a hit. If you're going to hit a ball up the middle, that would be a hit. If you're going to hit a line drive to left field, that would be a hit. If you want to hit a ball to the right side that bloops in, that would be a hit. Can you get a hit with 10 batting practice pitches?
It would be close, man. I don't know. I mean, I haven't swung a bat
Well, now
in
you're
years.
backing off your ability.
No, my
Ray,
original
what's
point.
going on here?
Ray, you
Yeah,
remember.
this is laying by you.
Wait,
no,
stop.
No, stop.
My
Stop,
original
no.
point was contact. That was the original point. I said I could make
What is
contact.
contact?
I could put a
Close your
ball
eyes,
into
you get
play.
a foul tip,
Yeah,
maybe.
you can hit a foul
What
ball,
type
be
of skill
contact.
is
That's
that?
what I said.
That's
Oh, that's
The
not
original-
what you were going. You were going
You're
all
such a-
bravado
No,
on this.
that is false. Pull the tape,
Load of
Ray.
crap.
Pull the tape.
No,
When
stop
the
it.
topic came
It's a
up.
waste of our time if you say
what
that.
accomplishment would it be to make contact? You hit a foul ball behind you.
All right.
Like what is
I'd
that?
have to put the ball in play. How about that?
in play for a hit.
No, I never said I would get a hit. I never said I would get a
insinuated
hit.
that you would hit a ball hard enough to get a hit. I'm asking you to hit a single. I'm
Yeah,
not
I-
asking you to hit it over the fence.
I never, and maybe batting practice would be different. When we were talking about the 100-mile-an-hour fastball and how hard it is to hit, I said I could put it in play if I was given 10 tries.
There's no chance you would even make contact with a 100-mile-an-hour.
See, there it is. No play. I said I could make contact.
But
that was
we're
the
not-
argument.
No, now this is a different argument. If you came to one of our batting practices and a batting practice pitcher threw you 10 strikes, what could you do with 10 strikes? You have insinuated that you would be able to get a hit.
I couldn't do this cold. You would have to give me time. I think I should be able to take some batting practice before.
Right. This is pathetic.
I haven't swung a bat.
This is pathetic. You haven't swung the bat when you made the statement of bravado.
I had not, but it was made contact. Now you're asking me to drive a ball into a gap.
I don't. What is contact? Ray, can you explain? Contact could be a tip of a foul. It could be like a little chopper in front of the pitcher. That's contact. Like that doesn't count.
And that was the bet we made. Contact. See, when you make a bet, you better know the definition.
You said on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. This is a completely different category. I'm putting this in.
All right, let me think about it. Let me think about what I could do.
All right, let's go back to the text board. What do you got here, Ray?
All right, let's go back. Sorry, I'm listening to him lawyer
I know.
his way out of hitting a baseball.
It's so
is
wormy
driving me
here with
nuts,
this guy.
but whatever. Joe in Jersey, Phil's never replaced Hoskins' offensive production. Still wouldn't want him. Is he going to save Turner's throws?
Turner hasn't been bad lately. Why
is Turner catching a stray?
Why do we carry this over with Turner? He hasn't made an error in a while.
And he's hitting over 300.
Turner catches a stray when they're trying to talk about the fact that Hoskins isn't that good defensively.
Yeah, I know he's not. He sometimes can't catch a ball that's right in his glove. But at this point, you're talking about the pop edition. He can give your lineup. So that would be the least of my concerns. Whether he can catch a sinker from Trey Turner.
We got
I'm
MJ.
sorry.
Yeah.
MJ in Pottstown. As far as Rhys Hoskins is concerned, you have to get the GM, who is Bryce Harper, to approve it first. Any and all changes have to get Bryce Harper's approval. He has way too much power and say.
Does he have way too much power and say, Bill?
Well, that's been something we've thought before, and we've talked about this a lot, that a lot of the guys you see on this team were because Bryce Harper wanted him here. But in this scenario, I don't think I would fault Bryce Harper to have to give approval here. I mean, you're asking the guy to completely change, to go from first back out to the outfield. I don't know. I think he should be consulted here. Am I wrong for that? I think he should have a say.
Are you meaning to tell me they would put him on a spot and say, Bryce, they were trying to get Rhys Hoskins, do you want it or not? He would say no? If that ever got out, do you know how damaging that would be to his reputation?
Well, isn't that why Rhys Hoskins even hit free agency in the first place?
I don't know. We don't know what the situation back. All we know back then is that they wanted him to play first base, and there was never a choice. Like, as far as we know, he was never given a choice. Like, they wanted him to play first base. That was the narrative. But in this particular situation, if they would ask him for approval to bring Rhys Hoskins in there and he would move to the outfield, that would get out.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. I mean, would that make Harper wrong if it got out and he said, "No, I feel comfortable at first"?
It would make him look terrible. Don't you think that would make him look bad?
Yeah, especially because so many people want Rhys back.
People want Rhys back. It would improve the. Would it improve the offense? Yes. Would he have to make a sacrifice by going in the outfield? Is it a big sacrifice for him to go back into the outfield? Like, would that be a major sacrifice for Bryce Harper? Say, hey, Bryce, we'd like you to play left field for the rest of the year. Is that a major sacrifice?
Well, here's now we go back. I know he's done it before, but you and I have had this battle when I said to try Sosa in the outfield, and you talk about how difficult it is for a guy to go play outfield. Harper has not been taking fly balls. He has not been practicing in the outfield. This guy has been trying to develop his skills at first. He hasn't played outfield in years.
So, he would forget about how to play the outfield?
I don't know. You made it out like it was impossible.
It's impossible for a guy like Sosa. Not for a guy that played outfield his whole life.
In the middle of a season.
Your analogies are terrible.
Let me ask you this. In the middle of a season for Bryce Harper, who has not played outfield, when was the last time he played in the outfield?
2 years ago.
Well, no, 2 years ago he had the Tommy John, didn't he? He was the DH.
3 years ago he was an outfielder, full-time outfielder.
Hold on,
you
I'm
mean
pulling
to tell
up.
me putting an outfielder by trade?
He has not played in the outfield since 2021. So you're going back 4 years. He has not played left field in 11 years. Or no, 2018, 7 years.
Hold on. What's the easiest outfield position to play?
Left.
What am I doing? Am I asking him to scrape his testicles over broken glass to climb Mount Everest?
Oh, this escalates quick.
No, I'm seriously. What am I asking him to do? What's the big sacrifice here?
What I'm saying is putting Bryce Harper in left, I don't think is as easy as you're making it out to be for a guy who hasn't played it in years. That's all. He hasn't played it. I'm not saying I'd be opposed to it.
You threw Sosa out there like he was Hank Aaron. Well, and now Bryce Harper, who has played outfield his entire life, is going to struggle to adapt?
He may.
Swear to God. Are you on this earth to make me nuts?
Got to get a new glove?
Have
everything.
you been put on this earth to make me crazy?
That's part of the plan. Ray, come on. The way Mike acts about the outfield, when I suggested Sosa.
Sosa's different. He's never played outfield. He's an infielder.
I believe you also attacked people who suggested Trey Turner go to the outfield.
Yes.
Well, Turner played outfield before.
For a half an hour. Oh, my God. Ray, you got to help me today. I know you don't want to help me, but you got to help me today.
I think the two of you should just keep going as it is. I'm wildly entertained.
632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies split the doubleheader. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. It's brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. The Phillies split yesterday's doubleheader with the Braves, taking 2 of 3 from Atlanta in the series. The afternoon game was Rafael Marchand show, hitting a home run, driving in 3 runs, throwing a runner out in the 9th, helping the Phillies secure a 5-4 win. The nightcap was a rare poor start from Zach Wheeler, and the Braves won that one 9-3. Bryce Harper did not play in either game, and Rob Thompson offered a little update on him postgame.
I mean, he's going to miss a few games, I would think. Moving forward, I don't know. We'll check it out tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be. It's not an IL or anything like that.
Well, it is tomorrow. We don't have any update for you yet. The Phillies and Brewers playing tonight, starting a 3-game set at Citizens Bank Park. First pitch at 6:45. DL Hall getting the opener status for the Brewers tonight. Taijuan Walker, the starter for the Phils. Down in South Philly today, the Eagles hit the field again. Third day of OTAs for them. We'll hear again from them next week. And the Union are in Dallas this weekend playing FC Dallas. First place Union kickoff 7:30 on Saturday right here on The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Rocket. Rocket.com is a single seamless homeownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, even refinance your home. Get started today at Rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for NBA playoff action. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I got my Friday Phillies hat on.
I hate the City Connect uniforms, but I love the hat.
All right, so I got my Philly Connect hat on.
It's a pretty fire hat.
All right, there you go.
It's fitted too, right?
It's a fitted hat.
What was on the back? Hold on. Give me this back view for a second. Turn around. Oh, you got the sticker above it. I was trying to wonder. I couldn't figure out what was above the.
What sticker?
There's an MLB logo.
Oh, really?
Then you still got the the high. What man was that called? I'm drawing a blank on the word.
Spell it, Bill. Let's go to the phones.
Man, we need help.
Jerry in New Jersey's checking in. What's up, Jerry? Oh, where is he? Jerry! Oh, I can't pop him on for some reason. What's going on here? We got him?
Can you pull him up, right?
Can't pull him up. What's going on?
Uh-oh.
The system. There's a flaw in the system.
Oh, let me see if I can do it. Yeah, there is a flaw in the system.
Flaw in the system. Can't pop him up. Let's try the phone system. No? Uh-oh. We got a frozen phone here.
I'm sorry,
Call
Jerry.
for the engineers.
And he just
he disappeared.
he just dropped off, I think.
He disappeared. But
There he is.
Is this Jerry?
Yes, it is. How
Jerry,
you doing,
how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Listen, I got a couple things.
Yes, sir.
First off, I've been listening to you for probably 30 years.
Oh, no.
And,
Have I polluted your brain
yeah.
for 30 years?
You couldn't turn it off?
Therapist says, but well, no. I got to tell you, dude, this is the best crew you've had in 30 years.
Oh.
Because the way you and Bill argue about back and forth, that's priceless radio, man. Listen every day.
Well, thank you very much. You know my mind is mush at the end of a show here, Jerry. You know that, right?
You and I have the same kind of personality. We're both Italian. We're both slightly twisted and have a strong opinion about a lot of things.
Okay.
Regarding trading Abel and Rojas for Hoskins, I would do that only because Hoskins has has had previous chemistry with this team, and the Phillies were better when he was here. He was better when he was here. I would give that a shot. Now, as far as the spelling goes, Ricochet is definitely with one C.
Yes, it is. It is.
And with the way Bill spells, thank God he went into radio.
Well, Bill's 1 for 4, but when you keep coming back to the plate, you have a chance to raise your average.
Look, he got spell check.
Absolutely.
And I was more of an orator.
Yeah, he's an orator.
Okay, cool.
Spell that.
Anyway, that's it for me. Schwarber, I think they should sign him.
Well,
5 years, give him
yeah,
the money that he wants.
yeah. There's no question. You cannot. And one of the things about baseball, thanks for the call, Jerry. You cannot allow a home run hitter out of your system. You can't. In this day and age, you got to have a bomber.
Yeah, and especially with the way Schwarber has gotten even better at hitting lefties. He's a leader. There's so many reasons.
It's a no-brainer. That would be a colossal blunder if they weren't able to re-sign him.
I can't imagine. No salary cap. There's no reason not to.
Exactly. All right, let me ask you a question about the Bryce Harper, Rhys Hoskins thing. Bryce is used to being kingpin here. Rhys Hoskins come back. He's got immense popularity that would, frankly, shave a little of the popularity of Bryce Harper off.
I don't know.
I don't know. Would he like being in that kind of a role where he's not the number one favorite with the fan base?
I don't think that Rhys would jump to number one. Bryce is always going to be.
I'm not saying number one. I'm saying he would share it. He would share a large portion of the popularity pie. And I don't know if Bryce would be comfortable with that.
I mean, look, he's sharing it right now with Schwarber.
Schwarber's unassuming. Rhys Hoskins is Rhys, you know?
And he would have to move positions for him. So
Schwarber's harmless. He runs like Babe Ruth. He's a little charming little bobblehead, you know?
But it's probably only for a postseason run. You don't know. Like, you're not actually keeping Harper in the outfield and re-signing Rhys.
I'm just asking a question, spelling boy.
Nah, I don't think.
Are you ready for another spelling as we go into the 12 o'clock hour with the news at noon?
Yeah, I'll get embarrassed.
The word is estuary. Estuary.
Can you use it in a sentence,
Can I
please?
use it in a sentence? Well, I can tell you the definition of estuary. It is a tidal mouth of a large river where the tide meets the stream. An enclosed coastal body of brackish water with one or more rivers or streams flowing into it. Estuary.
Nation of origin, please.
Nation of origin.
What?
It's an English word.
Is this a joke call? All right, say it one more time for me.
Estuary. Estuary.
I'm going to take a shot. Estuary. ESTUARY estuary.
Correcto mundo. Oh,
That was a guess.
Bill goes 2 for 5. He's now hitting 400.
That was a guess.
It's 12 o'clock. You're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show. That's probably the hardest word I'll give you today. And you slayed it. But you couldn't get ricochet.
And I meant language of origin, not nation of origin.
Language of origin. Well, language of origin. It's English.
It was an English word.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. Why do you need that?
Well, no, that's what they do in the real spelling bee. Doesn't help me at all.
It's derived from the Latin word estuarium, meaning tidal inlet of the sea.
That's what they do when the kids are doing the spelling bee.
Well, you should, if it's Latin, the origin, you went to Catholic school, prep boy. It's the Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, and we're broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. It is noontime. Happy lunchtime to everybody, and enjoy your lunch over a little something we call the News at Noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the News at Noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All righty, the News at Noon starts with a little football action, does it not, Ray Dunn?
It does. Peter King was on with Mike Florio yesterday, and they were getting into some of the bigger picture NFL conversations, and Peter King threw in there a line about if the NFL draft were to ever go away. Mike Florio followed up with, the draft going away? I've been a proponent of this, but please tell me more about it. Peter King theorized a world without an NFL draft.
Somebody abolished the draft and it goes through the courts and it does this. And if in 2054 there's no draft, let's just say, the NFL at that time with Commissioner Arch Manning will basically say at that time, oh, okay, there's no draft. Okay, what event can we figure out? Let's have a college prospect picking contest to see where they're going to go and who are they going to play for. You see free agency. You know, Mike, in 1975, when you were a kid watching football, you probably never thought in football that players would willy-nilly be changing teams. Well, why can't the best players, when they come out of college, why can't there be an event that will all sort of celebrate as the time the college players go and choose their team?
I am completely confused about what he just said. What is he saying there?
That there would be an event instead of the draft where the college players would have
their own team,
would select the team they would go to.
Well,
much like free agency.
Well, then that would deplete some small market team. Like, who would go to a bad team?
That's a great point. Abdul Carter would be an Eagle.
Well, he's saying that the draft would be ruled down. The draft is a violation of antitrust. So he could be right in that the courts would eventually rule that, a collective bargaining agreement is the only thing that protects a draft. That's a blatant violation of antitrust. And smell maybe in 2015. And it's interesting, he has Arch Manning, the quarterback for the University of Texas now, the grandson of, or the son of Cooper.
Being the NFL commission.
But that was NFL commission.
He's obviously joking. He's being tongue-in-cheek there, but
yeah,
you're right. And Florio, who he's talking to, has said this before, that he thinks the draft needs to go away.
Why?
He said before that it's a violation of antitrust, that they shouldn't be able to do it.
It is a violation of antitrust, but it's permitted because of collective bargaining. So when you collectively bargain some antitrust principles. Like salary cap is a violation of antitrust. The draft is a violation of antitrust. But that's all permitted because two sides have collectively agreed to accept it. So why would he think that the collective bargaining process would be out the window and the courts would overrule the NFL draft?
Or if you take the courts out of this, the next time they sit down to do the collective bargaining agreement, hey, we're going to end this whole cash up front thing, the way to circumvent the cap. What's a way the players get something they want when the owners don't have to spend as much money?
But here's the problem, though. the NFLPA that would be negotiating this,
You have to hold out.
well, they also don't necessarily care about the college kids who aren't there yet. Like the current players on the NFLPA, they're going to be like, whoa. We all got drafted. Like they'd have to put something in place.
Collective bargaining will never go away because for it to make it go away, you would have to shut down the game. And the game will never be shut down because of the loss of revenue.
It would have to be in the negotiations when the next CBA's up, which I think is in like 3 years,
like
3 or 4
for
years.
the players to say, we can no longer play under these restrictions, we're not going to play, they would be locked out. And so football would stop. There would be no sport. And that would precipitate the owners then to say, okay, we'll give you what you want.
Yeah.
But there would have to be a strike on either side.
Yeah, assuming that there's pushback from either side. If the owners like if the owners like the idea of no draft,
I think the draft is fantastic.
It is, but when you really step back, we're so used to it. It is kind of a weird concept.
Oh, it's totally weird. It's like going to a cattle buy.
Yeah, like we would like. There's no other career. Maybe doctors do this when they pick their residencies, but there's really no other career where you go in and have no say over where you go.
Yeah, true. Like even you have a say where you're going to go. You decide to come here.
Yeah. Like everyone has a say over where they.
The other place
work.
you were working wasn't paying you, but that's beside the point. All right.
I was actually traded here by a Jacksonville radio station.
Were you really?
Yeah, it was.
Were you?
Yeah, it was a lucrative deal.
Jacksonville radio station trade. What did they get in the process? They got a couple microphones.
They got a couple microphones, a Comrex system. Actually, it was a big haul. For
really?
them. They did not think they were getting that much from me.
Their workers' comp attorney recommended it because he was getting too sunburned while at work down in Jacksonville. Told him get up north.
All right, next up for you, taking it inside the NBA, they had them way up there at Madison Square Garden last night for Game 5, and Charles Barkley had jokes about it.
We higher than that, brother.
645. We up in the clouds.
We up in the clouds. I could touch God right now. That's the only chance I'm ever going to get to see him.
Oh, don't say that.
I'm going to hell.
Damn.
But I'm going to see a lot of y'all with me. A lot of y'all laughing at home. I'm going to see you. Hey, Shaq, good to see you again.
And you're going to have on some gasoline draws.
What gasoline drawers? What does that mean? What's the gasoline drawers thing?
I don't get that either.
They're on fire for all eternity.
Because they're going to hell. Because they're going to hell.
Oh, they're going to
gasoline drawers.
Why did they have them so high up?
I don't know, but they came back. They were on the court after the game, so they had to schlep themselves down there. I guess that's the only spot in Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden is a weird building. There's not a lot of open space to stash a big broadcast team.
There was a chance that was going to be the last one ever on TNT.
It was, and they said their goodbyes.
But they got another one.
We're coming to kick ass no matter where we are.
Yeah, he did say that.
Say no matter where we are.
And we're taking
ESPN.
names. Yeah, he would not say ESPN by name. He said that if we're on another network, he said. He referred to them as a network. Is that deal
not cemented? What's going on?
I don't know.
Is Ernie's not going with him, right?
I'm so confused what's happening.
I thought
all four of them were going to ESPN. It was going to be produced by the same people. I'm lost as to what, because they're making such a big deal about it ending. I keep asking the same question. Aren't we just rolling with these guys? Who's losing their job that we are treating this like it's a farewell tour?
Yeah, I hear you. By the way, my Knicks came through last night. How about those Knicks? How about those Knicks?
Nope. Now he's back.
They come back.
Nope.
Come on.
Nope.
What?
Nope.
I love the way they play.
Nope.
Him and Timothy Chalamet.
They played so well last night. They had Pascal Siakam very, very annoyed post-game. Him and Greg Doyle of Indy Star getting into it in a weird reporter-player back and forth.
How is that possible?
What do you mean?
How is it possible to not fight hard enough in the game?
What are you talking about? They played harder than us. It's okay. We played hard, but they played harder. What's your point? I don't get it.
My point is, you're saying you guys got outfought.
That happens in the game, though. That's basketball.
In game 5, you didn't play well?
You're good? You're good, bro? You're looking for something, I know, but damn. No, but I'm telling you, though. I told you. What else you want me to tell you?
Well, what you tell me how. That's all I'm asking.
Well, what about you telling me? So go ahead. Who's this guy? What's your name, bro? Oh.
The poor PR guy. That's Greg Doyle from the Indy Star.
Yeah, he's a pain in the ass columnist, but he's very controversial. He said, "How could this happen?" And I assume he's saying, "Well, how could 4 of your starters go 8 points or less 8 points or less, and be a minus 25, minus 23, minus 20, and minus 20. That's their starting lineup last night, the Pacers. I'm done with that team. I used to like that team. I'm back with the Knicks.
Oh, boy.
No,
They're going to get smoked on Saturday night now. Mikey Miss is back on the bandwagon. Yeah.
Go back to that bandwagon. Please.
Go. You and Miles Teller.
I agree. I think they lose game 6. But they came up big last night in front of Timmy Chalamet and Benny Stiller.
Still can't believe you're not a Stiller.
And they have Marissa Harskate from SUV or SVU. What is that? SVU. Marissa Harskate and the other blonde from that show.
I don't know it. I don't really watch a lot of network shows.
Law and Order SVU. They were both there last night. A lot of celebs. I like looking at the celebs courtside. Don't you?
Yeah, it's great. You know who else likes it? Your boy T.J. McConnell. Did you see him taunting that celebrity row, Ray?
I did.
A little taunting.
But T.J. McConnell made 1 3-pointer. Did you see how he hoisted it like it was a medicine ball?
Yeah, he shot puts it.
He shoots it like it's a
He didn't have a great fourth quarter either.
Dude, come on. Step into a jump shot for crying out loud. The Mike Missanelli Show, 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Friday, May 30th.
Hey, Mike Missanelli Show. Hey, there's something that smells like dirty feet in here today. You notice that?
As big as my nostrils are, I don't have a great sense of smell.
You don't?
No, and I would not assume it's me. I shower every day, my friend.
Smelling dirty feet in here, Ray?
In there?
Somewhere, the whole studio smells like dirty feet.
Somebody
walking around barefoot. There used to be a host here that would walk around barefoot. He shall remain nameless, but he did weekends.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out who it was.
I was going to say, I remember Jamie Lynch was big on the flip-flops.
Yeah.
He was an open-toe guy.
Salciunas is an open-toe guy, too, usually.
Well, I think that's what it is. I think it's Salciunas.
Well, he wasn't wearing flip-flops today, though.
Oh, he wasn't?
No.
Was head to the shore, though, I think.
Smells like funky toes, man. I don't know what it is.
I don't have a great sense of smell, as big as this nose is.
I don't know what to tell you.
Can't be in my nose. Sometimes, you smell your own nose.
Maybe you got bad breath. Maybe your breath's smelling like toe cheese.
My breath is sweet as rose petals. But anyway, 610-632-0975 is how you get in. Our boy Reggie is on the line, currently in Tennessee. Truck driver Reggie, what's up, Reg?
Tennessee?
Hey,
what's happening?
yes, that's a good song too. 2 points real fast. Dave Dombrowski's, whenever he talks, I'd rather listen to 7 seconds of silence and get more substance than when he speaks.
Well, he's a GM. He has GM speak, and he uses the word club, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
They call their teams clubs. Yeah. The baseball
Cotton candy has
term,
more
club.
substance than when he's talking.
The ball club.
And Bill, hey, good morning, Ray. Good morning, Bill. How y'all doing?
It's Friday, my man.
All right. Bill, I understand you have all these extra legal pads, right? Because you have all your stats and everything, and then some of them are brand new. So, you could use one of those to start your fire in your fire.
Nah, my legal pads are gold, man. I can't burn these things.
All right, now Reggie, you seem to be a man of the world. Reggie, you travel all over. You're a man of the world. You're a man of the country, right?
Yeah.
How would it be possible to just light a bag and start a log, unless there was some kind of inflammatory situation?
Now, I spent 30 days. I was in the Marines back in the 80s. I did 4 years.
Uh-huh.
And we went out for a month of training as if we were behind enemy lines, right?
Yeah.
We built the tent and everything. It was about 500 of us all together. But we did that for 30 days and, starting a fire and hunting a black bear in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And a few other things that we did out there. So there's many, many ways to start fire. I was laughing.
Yeah, but one of the ways you can't start a fire is a log that is surrounded by paper, and then you light the paper, and all of a sudden the log goes up, unless there's some kind of treated with something.
Yeah, there's probably a natural accelerant on this Duraflame.
What could be a natural accelerant? That's what I got to know. What is a natural accelerant?
Whatever they got on it, I don't know.
Somebody's shirt, that's not natural. Well, if the shirt is cotton, that's natural, isn't it? 100% cotton shirt?
Yeah, I guess it is. But still, you couldn't light a shirt and it would go. Right. There's got to be some kind of chemical in there.
Yeah, because the paper burns too fast, and it wouldn't be the right temperature to get the log started.
Correct.
So,
they're probly like tree oils of some sort.
Yeah, tree oil.
Something like that.
I'm going to find it. I'm going to find out. All right. So you're a Dave Dombrowski hater. That is your message for today, Reg?
Not a hater. I don't hate anybody I never liked. I'm not a hater. He doesn't tell me anything, even when he's talking. And, I know when they do deals, they're not giving us information until we get more from the anonymous sources than we do from...
Yeah. Okay.
Those are rats, in my opinion.
I got you.
Anonymous sources speaking on condition of anonymity.
Yeah. I hear you, Reg. All right, buddy. Hey, Brad, what are you transporting today in Tennessee?
Oh, I delivered a load of frozen turkeys that I brought down from outside of Minneapolis 2 days ago.
Oh, the frozen turkey.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
7,000 pounds. I love turkey.
Did you grab one?
No, they
Oh, they got the inventory, huh?
samples. Yeah, but when it's frozen and it has to remain, this particular load had to stay at -10 because the building they have these buildings where they -10, -20 temperatures for food and ice cream and stuff.
What an interesting job you have, Reg. You traveling the world. Now, see, you got to appreciate loneliness to have that job, right?
Well, that's where we fill in.
Well,
we provide
right.
Reggie companionship on his journeys.
Right, because your mind would wander a lot on the road all the time.
Yeah, it would.
Bill's got us here and his mind wanders.
What was that, Ray?
True. You think Bill could be a truck driver?
That was a joke, Ray.
Do you want me to hit the rim shot?
Bill couldn't be a truck driver. 610-632-0975. The Scrubs Howard Spelling Bee continues with another word after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Bill, split the doubleheader. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update that's brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. Phillies split yesterday's doubleheader with the Braves, meaning they take 2 of 3 from Atlanta in the series. The afternoon game was the Rafael Marchand show. He had a home run, drove in 3 runs, and threw a run in the ninth to help preserve a 5-4 win for the Phillies. The nightcap was a rare poor start from Zach Wheeler. The Braves won that game 9-3. Bryce Harper didn't play in either game. Rob Thompson offered a little update on him post-game.
I mean, he's going to miss a few games, I would think. Moving forward, I don't know. We'll check it out tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be. It's not an IL or anything like that.
Phillies and Brewers for a 3-game set this weekend. We'll see about Harper's availability tonight. The first game of the 3, 6:45. DL Hall opening up for the Brewers. Taijuan Walker getting the start for the Phillies. Elsewhere in South Philly, Eagles hit the practice field again today, third day of OTAs. We'll hear from a couple of people from the organization coming up next week. Union in Dallas this weekend as first place Union taking on FC Dallas. 8:30 kickoff for that game Saturday night right here on The Fanatic. This update brought to you by Discover. Did you know what's accepted at 99% places to take credit cards nationwide? If you guessed Discover, you guessed right. Best in the February 2024 Nielsen Report. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for NBA playoff action. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
7 Mike Missanelli Show, 610-632-0975. All right, a couple of questions that we posed today. And it's current form, current lineup. Now, this is coming off a loss to the Braves, a bad loss in Game 2 where Wheeler really was not Wheeler. So you take it with a grain of salt. They still won the series. They beat the Braves the first 2 games. Can this current configuration, without a move, same bullpen, same starters, same starting staff, get to the World Series, play for the World Series title? And secondly, would you make a trade that brought Rhys Hoskins back here if you knew it would have to shift Bryce Harper to the outfield?
The more we talk about the Rhys Hoskins thing, the more I'm not doing it.
What?
The more I'm not doing it. Like, it does result in too much change. Think about how bad of a fielding team you will become. You got Rhys Hoskins now at first. You're going to weaken your outfield when it's in terms of fielding because you're going to put Bryce in left, who's not going to be as good of a fielder with what you have out there now. You'd have to move Max Kepler probably to center, so now your center position's weaker. I don't like all those changes.
Me to question one then. Is this team in its current configuration good enough to win?
If they don't make a single move.
Yes. Not even, you can't make a single move.
Not even in the pen. Not even in the bullpen.
Not a single move.
Can they win? Yes. But is it probable? Probably not.
Well, that's a mealy-mouthed answer.
Yeah, so probably not.
So you're saying probably not.
If I had to put money on whether this team gets to a World Series or not, as currently constructed, I would say no, but not because of the lineup. Not because of the starting rotation. It would be the bullpen that would hold me back. And that's why I'm not making a move for Rhys Hoskins. I'm making a move to fix the back end of the pen. And I'd be okay with the lineup as constructed.
Okay. All right, now back to the Scrubs-Howard spelling bee, where Bill's 2 for 5. Now, that's 400. Now, as a hitter, that's pretty damn good. As a spelling bee, it sucks.
Well, I would have been eliminated. I would have been eliminated on the second word.
So here we go to see if he can raise that average and get it over 500 at least. The word is ingratiate. The sentence is, in order to ingratiate himself with Nick Sirianni, Bill Colarulo incessantly praises him.
Hell yeah.
I may be wrong on the first letter here, but I'm going to take a shot. Ingratiate. INGRATIATE. Ingratiate.
Correct, Mundo. 3 for 6. He has raised it to the 500 mark.
He's batting 500. Also, the father-in-law that we all love.
Yes.
Weighed in on the fire starter.
Yes.
So he's got the answer.
All right. It's pine oil.
Well, he says the non-toxic fire starters are usually made with wax and sawdust. Sometimes plant wax, which is safe for food. An example is a soy candle made of soy wax.
Okay. I did some research on this myself. A natural accelerant is a naturally occurring substance. It is usually made up of some kind of a resin. A resin is a natural sap found in trees like pine, spruce, and fir. It is an excellent accelerant. It is highly flammable and can easily ignite and sustain a flame. Pine cones would also be in that same kind of family.
See? Interesting.
Fatwood, a type of pine wood known for its high resin content. Birch bark.
See? So this is all possible.
All right.
So I have a natural burning log that I can roast marshmallows.
I've seen this fat wood at a grocery store. It has like looks like a log, and it's like dug out in the front. It has a hole in it, and it has like little side spurs.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
Yeah, so that's what we got.
I go right for the poison. I go for the fire starter. I don't want to mess around.
Well, you're not roasting marshmallows with kids.
No, I don't. No, I'm not roasting marshmallows.
I got my kids want to roast marshmallows and make s'mores and get it all over themselves.
All right. Well, good luck with that then.
All right. But ingratiate, 3 for 6.
Okay. Now we'll go one more before we get back to the text board and maybe the phone calls. The word is illustrious. The sentence is, Mike Missanelli's illustrious career was tainted by the 1 year he spent with Bill Colarulo.
Illustrious.
Phil, just listen to Mike.
Illustrious.
I got it. ILLUSTRIOUS.
Oh, my
illustrious.
God. What is happening here, Ray? He is 4 for 7.
Don't call it a comeback.
Oh, my God. 4 for 7.
So much good.
He is raising it up the level.
That may be my favorite drop that he has. So much good.
So much good.
How did you find these, by the way? I've always meant to ask, how did you find all these Sirianni drops?
Some of these were in before, and I was like, oh, this would fit. I think the So Much Good was one that was in before, and I was just knew that every time you sat there and did a 5-minute monologue on why Sirianni was the greatest coach who ever walked the face of the earth, that a So Much Good would probably
So much good.
fit the moment.
Such a good one.
All right, back to the text board. What do we have?
Texter chiming in, you 100% acquire Hoskins if you have to part with Rojas and Abel. How many pitchers do you want? The window is closing. Do it.
All right, so there you go, Bill. Now that's not taken into consideration your concerns, which is you're going to mess up your defense and mess up your kind of normal configuration. But
you're giving away.
It's interesting. By the same token, they can't win.
Well, no,
without changes.
I'm saying don't give up a valuable trade chip like Mick Abel for Rhys Hoskins. Give it up for a bullpen arm. Give it up for a Batista. Give it up for one of these guys that may become available at the deadline that you can slide into the pen. Don't do it for Rhys Hoskins. I don't think it makes your team that much better. A guy that strikes out a lot, yeah, he has pop from the right side, but it's going to weaken your defense. You got to now mess up with whatever Bryce has going on. He's got to go to the outfield. I don't think you do it. I just don't think you do it.
Let's hear from Dave Dombrowski, who was on a podcast where he started talking about his squad. So let's start out with what he thinks overall of his team. So that would be Dave Dombrowski 1, Ray.
I don't feel like our offense is really gelled 100% by any means. And yet we're still among the league leaders in many categories. It's interesting. I just think it points to how much offense is down throughout the game. So I think for us, a lot of it, I think, just becomes an internal improvement for us because I think Schwarber has been the one guy that has been hot from beginning to now. The numbers he's put up has been fantastic. We have a lot of guys that are doing fine. Turner's been doing a lot better recently. Harper, despite saying, okay, he's not really Bryce as you anticipated, he's on the pace to driving 100 runs right now, too. So I think a lot of it comes from the internal. Bohm doing a little bit better. Stott doing a little bit better. JT doing better. Castellanos, Marsh, Kepler. So a lot of those guys need to kind of pick it up a little bit for us. And then we'll just continue to evaluate what takes place as far as what additions we may need to make. But we don't have a glaring hole there, but we just need a lot of improvements by the individuals.
See, to me, that's a cop-out answer. You need internal improvement. But I go, you're asking guys maybe to be something they're not. You see what they are. I remember David Dombrowski, I need 60 games to evaluate. Well, it's your 60 games. What do you know about your team? There's not much internal improvement's going to happen. What's Kepler all of a sudden become a 200, 290 hitter? Who else? Is your center field situation? Is that going to get any better? You know what these guys are. Is JT Realmuto going to really be able to raise his average to the point and be a viable hitter in the middle of the lineup?
Well, you'd expect him to at least be better against left-handed pitching, man. I mean, he's batting under 100 against lefties.
But at this stage, they kind of are what they are. They're not hiding. They're not holding anything back, are they, this team?
Well, Casty should have more power than what he's given you. I think JT will be a little bit better. I don't expect the JT of old, but he should be a little bit better. And even though we're saying this, Mike, I mean, what else do you want from this offense? The offense has been pretty damn good.
It has.
Over the last month.
But I'm just talking about, hey, he said he hasn't been satisfied. He hasn't been satisfied with his offense all the way across the board. That's what he just said.
The number one stat for me is in the month of May, number 2 OBP in all of baseball. Like, they're getting on base, man. The power will come with Castellanos. You're seeing it now with Harper before he got hurt.
Is the power going to come with Castellanos?
I think
or
it will.
Is this what he is? He hits the ball the other way now.
He's so streaky,
He and Alec Boehm, right center field.
Cassie will go on one of these tears. It always happens.
All right, 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Andrew Salciunas.
Don't diminish what the Phillies are doing just because they've won 9 of their last 10 games against bad baseball.
It's 1241 Mike Missanelli Show. Yeah, I got a neighborhood problem. Not a problem, neighborhood question for you. So I have a neighbor that has a hedge that when I come down the side street to make a left turn on the busier street.
Oh, you can't see?
The hedge obscures the vision of looking left as the cars are coming.
Homeowner could be liable if a car accident occurs.
Really?
Yes. I've actually brought that lawsuit in my lawyering days.
This is a good guy. I would get along with him. He's one of those guys that is a little passive aggressive if like he senses that something is impeding on his property. He was telling me like the stump, tree stump on the outside of our property line where the sidewalk is has termites.
Oh, you told me this.
Yeah, like he informed me of that. as if I was like Terminex. You know, like what am I going to do about that? Right, but it happened to be on my side. So in reciprocity, should I say, yeah, by the way, you think about trimming your hedge? Should I do that? Or is that going to bring bad blood?
I would do it in a way where you're doing him a favor. Like, hey, listen, I just want you to know, God forbid, someone gets in a car accident because they can't see, you could be held liable. You may want to get that trimmed to avoid you getting sued.
How about if I do this? I have a hedge trimmer.
You're going to go do it for him.
How about if I say to him, hey, listen, would you mind if I trimmed your hedge a little big? It's really tough to see. But what do you think?
I don't know, man. Well, you're going to ask him first. If he just comes out and you're trimming his hedge.
No, I'm not going to do it, without asking him.
You don't trim a man's hedge without asking.
No. Certainly not. I'm going to thin it out. I'm going to thin it out on the opposite side, the side that impedes the vision.
Yeah, I think
it's what I would do.
I think if you offer
I'm dying to use my hedge trimmer. I very, very rarely use it.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you should offer to do it and tell him why, though. Tell him you want to be careful. You don't want to.
I am puzzled by why he doesn't face the same situation. Like when he comes to that corner, because his car comes out of the driveway, he's got to go to that same intersection.
I think it would be better if you just go up to him and listen, your hedges look like crap. I'm going to help you out. I think you should pull that.
Go, oh, damn it, would you trim your hedge? How about that?
Yeah, that'll work.
Would that work?
Trim your damn hedges, Bob.
Let's go to Greg in Lancaster. Greg, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Greg.
Hey, Mike. I want to talk about Hoskins, but I want to preface it a little bit by stating this, and the preface to the preface is, I was telling my wife this morning that you and I actually go back to the F&M days with the Sixers, so we've known of each other. We don't know each other per se, but we said hello to each other. Way back when,
when they trained at Franklin and Marshall.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I got you.
I should probably stop with those acronyms, huh? But
yeah, that's all right. No, Franklin and Marshall is where they used to train in Lancaster.
They were in my conference in football.
There you go.
We played
That's
F&M.
right.
The Diplomats.
Where did you go?
Gettysburg.
Oh wow, what a school! Great school.
Whoa.
Yeah, F&M really well known for their basketball program, and actually the head coach of the Timberwolves is a graduate of Franklin.
What's the better school, Gettysburg or F&M, Greg?
F&M probably. Education.
I love F&M. But, man, I'll tell you, Gettysburg's a hell of a competition.
Wow, how about that? How about Gettysburg getting some praise here?
They really are. They're great competition. A lot of lawyers come out of Gettysburg, as they do Franklin and Marshall. There's a lot of medical from F&M.
How about that, right?
A lot of lawyers,
right.
A lot
In
of
fact,
doctors.
Bill may have been overeducated. Going to the Harvard of Pennsylvania.
You see, Greg, I dumbed down my point of view here for these two guys so that they don't feel inferior on air.
I got to tell you, though, before I get into my preface, Mike, all the years of listening to you, even back to the old station, I was never a big fan of Fredericks, but the way that you held that together, this might be your best group that you've ever had.
Oh, listen to you.
Awesome.
And it's going to last for probably another week, by the way, but that's beside the point.
Mike's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
The stuff that we've seen together, Doc coming to town, Moses coming to town. I was in the stadium the year that Schilling blasted the Yankees when the Phillies had absolutely nothing. They won like 59 games that year. Threw a 2-hitter against Jeter. Labor Day weekend, as I recall, in '97. We saw Millwood's no-hitter. We've seen Roy Halladay in person. And I got to tell you, wrapping this into Reese, one of my all-time favorite games was that playoff home run. I will never, ever forget how loud
you see that, and that was like his exit strategy. Like he left the city with that moment. You know,
you talk about the bat spike, right?
Yeah, the bat spike.
I mean, that was an unbelievable.
That's what everybody will remember. They won't remember the fact that they booed Reese Hoskins a lot here. They don't remember the fact that he couldn't catch a routine throw from shortstop. He would drop it every now and then. But they're going out. It's like George going out on a high note, Ray. That's it for me, right? And that Seinfeld episode, that's what Reese Hoskins did. Now, he's talking about when the Sixers, I've told this story before, when the Sixers trained at Franklin and Marshall, and I was a young Skippy. I was stringing for the Bucks County Carrier-Times. I was in college.
Yeah.
So it was like,
what's that mean, stringing?
Stringing is you're a freelance writer, and they send you to report on something.
Got it.
All right, so I go, and I'm a big Sixer fan. Like, this is the transition that you make from kid to adult professional. It's like it happens right in front of my eyes. So I go to and I'm, oh my God, I'm covering Sixers training camp. There's Julius Erving, and there's Joe Bryant, and Lloyd Free, and Steve Mix, and George McGinnis, and all these guys. I'm going, oh my God. So I get into the scrimmage, and they're scrimmaging, and they couldn't have been like more disrespectful to the coach. They did nothing that the coach wanted them to do. and this was where George, in the middle of a scrimmage, I've told this story a million times. People say, this really happened? I go, how could I make this story up? In the middle of the scrimmage, George McGinnis walks off the court, goes over to the bleachers where his bag was, takes out a cigarette, and lights it, and smokes a ciggy as the scrimmage is going on. Now they're playing 5-on-4. He's got a cigarette. And my eyes are like what? And Gene Shoes, the head coach, and Gene Shoes goes, George, come on, George. And he gets the cigarette and he waves it at him like, get the hell out of here. I'm going, oh my God, this is what happens in pro sports. That was my transition. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Bills split the doubleheader. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies split yesterday's doubleheader with the Braves, but they take 2 of 3 from Atlanta in the series. The afternoon game was the Rafael Marchand show, hitting a home run, driving in 3 runs, and throwing a runner out in the ninth to help the Phillies secure a 5-4 win. The nightcap was a rare poor start from Zach Wheeler, and the Braves won the game 9-3. Bryce Harper did not play in either game, and Rob Thompson offered an update on him postgame.
I mean, he's going to miss a few games, I would think. Moving forward, I don't know. We'll check it out tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be. It's not an IL or anything like that.
We'll see if he plays this weekend against the Brewers. Milwaukee in town for a 3-game set. First game tonight at Citizens Bank Park, 6:45. DL Hall, the opener for the Brewers. Taijuan Walker getting the start for the Phillies. Eagles hit the practice field again today, day 3 of OTAs. They continue through phase 3 of the offseason. As for a team in season, the top team right now, Eastern Conference in Major League Soccer, the Union in Dallas this Saturday, 8:30 kickoff for that against FC Dallas. This update brought to you by WhatsApp. On WhatsApp, your personal messages stay private because your personal messages are yours. No one else can see or hear them, not even WhatsApp. WhatsApp, message privately with everyone. I'm Ray Down, your home for NBA playoff action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ricky Batalico.
There's a schedule.
in trying to give me a compliment. He said, well, I go way back to when you first started with the S&M days. And he goes, I didn't care too much for Fredericks. All right? So, but let me just say this. I owe my entire career to Steve Fredericks.
Really?
Yeah, I was a nobody. I was a guy who had done some part-time sports talk stuff. I was a newspaper reporter. And out of the blue, they offered me that slot with Steve Fredericks. Steve was the venerable radio host, and I was the upstart. And Steve had a long career in radio. And, so I'm thinking, well, how's he going to receive me? Like, I'm just this wise ass. He allowed me to be the wise ass. And he took a back seat and became the straight man.
How long was that S&M show together? How many years did you do that?
6 or 7 years.
Wow.
But we started, it was at the ground floor of Sports Talk Radio in Philadelphia. So the evening drive show was us. And it's funny when you work with somebody. Steve made no bones about his substance abuse problem. He would talk about it a lot, and that was part of his recovery. He was sober when he joined me. He had been sober for like 9 or 10 years. And so he would talk about it a lot. And we would do remotes in bars and stuff. I go, doesn't this bother you? And he says, no, it's because I see people that get out of control in bars, and it reminded me of how I used to be, and it reminds me never to be that way again. He was like a concierge for me.
Yeah.
Like he was you could talk to him about anything. Like when I work with you, at the end of the day, I'm irritated. when I worked with him, at the end of the day, I was astonished.
Look, this is a nice moment for Mike, and he takes a shot at me.
No, I'm just saying the difference. The difference is, like, he was this tremendously learned guy who knew everything about everything, right? And then he would tell you stories about his past. And I'm thinking, this is a guy who's lived 9 lives. It's like the stories would come out of the blue, like during a commercial. He would come out with a story, and he would go, he goes, I guess, Steve, this substance abuse problem. He goes, yeah, I used to black out for days at a time. And I go, well, what do you mean? And he would say something like, well, for example, I remember being at a party in Boston, and the next thing I know, I was on a beach in Puerto Rico with a woman I didn't know.
Oh, man.
It's like, what?
Yeah, that's
like what? And so I would go, oh, okay. Like these stories that would come out of nowhere.
So you don't like our conversations during the breaks?
They're different. They're different conversations.
You see this?
Right? I would go, oh my God, this guy's lived a life like he's been all over the world. He's learned. He's had the substance abuse problem. He got into all kinds of trouble. He rebounded from it. He became, he's sober. Like he had a life story, the guy. Nice. And my years with him, like, turned into this whole career.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And I've heard a lot of people say good things about Steve Fredericks. And every time we get calls, they always go back to the S&M show. That they always reference it.
Again, like the ground floor of Sports Talk Radio. I guess it started in New York, right? It started with those with Frances and Russo up there, right?
Yeah.
And then the next year, like, this is when the radio station became a full-time sports talk station, and they needed personnel. And I just happened to be in the spot.
Yeah, they went to the newspaper, but right? They took a lot of you.
Yeah, they poached all of us.
Yeah.
If he wasn't as gracious in allowing me to be me, because he didn't have to. He was the radio guy. Like, I was just a smart aleck.
And you showed me a video of you from, I guess that was the 90s. You haven't changed at all.
Oh.
He hasn't changed.
I don't know.
It's you yelling. The video you showed me is from like 1990. You're yelling at Sal Pal, and you're calling him, all right, Mr. Football, what would you do? And I'm like, man, I got nightmare. Like, my hair rose on my arms. That's how he talks to me.
That was the show where we measured Howard Eskin's ass.
Yeah.
He would walk on the set, and we'd go, what the hell? That's the biggest ass we've ever seen. Like, you look like a fire hydrant.
Yeah, in that video,
I don't have a big ass. And we go, no. Let's get a tape. Let's get a tape measure.
Right,
they were a fun day.
I showed you that, right?
Yeah.
That Mike sent to me.
Yes.
It's on TikTok of all places. There's a video.
We were wild and crazy.
Mike, you missed the TikTok star.
Yeah, I'm a TikTok star now. All right.
Remember when Mike said, we're doing this new thing, and I'm like, yeah, it's called Instagram.
Isn't it so nice that you go from being the smart aleck to dealing with the smart aleck?
I was and now when I start talking about him, these stories float in my head. Like the time he told me how I knew Fred Grandy, who played gopher on the Love Boat, and how he was running for Congress in Iowa. And I go, wait a minute, you know Fred Grandy, the gopher? He goes, yeah, we used to party together. he goes, that was when I was dating Jane Curtin. Jane Curtin from Saturday Night Live, the one who did the you ignorant slut.
He was dating her for a while?
Yeah, I'm going, what the hell? These stories would come out of nowhere. My ears would go boing.
Yeah. The Love Boat.
In any event, it's 1 o'clock. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. It's 97.5 The Fanatic. You're listening to WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station. We broadcast live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. All right, Ray, let's start the 1 o'clock hour with a text, and then we'll get back to our Scrubs Howard spelling bee.
Mike from Allentown, if Harper thought bringing Hoskins to town would mean a parade, he wouldn't hesitate. He is so desperate to bring a chip and cement his legacy in Philadelphia. I don't think there's anything he wouldn't greenlight.
How about Bryce?
There you go. Now, Bill, you seem to be a little reluctant about whether the great team player Bryce Harper would greenlight it.
Yeah, I don't know if you don't think it's that big of a deal for him to move to the outfield. I think that it is. I think he would be willing to do it for the right person. Like he mentioned in that article from the offseason, Pete Alonso. You know, if there was a chance they could have got Vlad, would you have done it? But like for Rhys, like, are we overhyping Rhys Hoskins? I love him. I always remember the bat spike and all that. But I think we're acting like for you to completely change the entire lineup for Rhys Hoskins. Are we being serious here?
Well, not changing. It's really not changing an entire lineup. It's adding a little punch to a lineup.
Yeah, but you are, because you're moving Bryce to left. Then you got to figure out what you're doing with your left fielder. So if it's Max Kepler, you're moving him to center. The ripple effect now, you become a weak fielding team, and you're doing it all for Rhys Hoskins.
Well, you got right-handed protection in that lineup to your two power-hitting lefties, though. You really don't have that now.
So where would you put him? So you'd have Stott leading off. You'd have Turner batting second. Harper third. Schwarber cleanup. Are you putting Hoskins right behind Schwarber in the cleanup spot? You putting Hoskins at 5?
I think that I may have Hoskins as my cleanup. Schwarber is my 5.
You can't drop Schwarber to 5. You can't.
Because then you got two lefties in a row there. If that's where the protection comes in. If you got Hoskins behind Harper and you got Schwarber behind Hoskins, you got Pop Central in those three hitters.
Now, the only way that would make sense would be, and I don't think they would do this against righties, against lefties, would have Turner lead off, then go Harper, Schwarber, Hoskins. But I like Stott in that leadoff spot. But if Stott's your leadoff hitter, there's no way you're dropping Schwarber to the 5. He's not going to get as many at-bats at that point. And I want him to get as many at-bats as possible.
I get it. I guess that's the drawback. But I think to maximize your lineup, righty-lefty, pop, that's the way you would go.
But with Schwarber, the way he's hit left-handed pitching, it doesn't even matter at this point. Like, I'm not even worried about
I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about the guy behind him. Like he would – yeah, well,
what –
see, with Hoskins behind Schwarber, I guess he'd get good pitches to hit. Like you said, it doesn't matter. So if it doesn't matter, lefty, right, like for bullpens that come in late, they would have no edge at all bringing in a left-hander. And they do that now. They bring in left-handers to face those two guys.
Yeah, and now in our 5-hole at this point, it's Casty, right? Is that what they've been doing?
Yeah,
most of the time?
He's not. He's having a good year hitting wise, but he's not. He doesn't have the pop that he used to have.
The lineup's good enough. Get the bullpen fixed.
All right, but then we go back to the question: is the lineup good enough to win anything?
With the right bullpen, yes. That's how I feel. And look, I was very against what they did at the deadline last year in left, and I wanted to see them upgrade in the outfield and all that. I just think at this point, when you look at this team and the way it's constructed, let's go all in on that bullpen. You got this starting pitching staff. You're going to put a couple of those starters in the pen. You get another high-leverage right-hander in the pen. Still going to be hard to beat the Dodgers. No matter what you do, it's going to be hard to beat the Dodgers, but that's what I'd rather see them do. Now, if we can get greedy and get it all, You get an everyday center fielder that's a righty, and you fix the bullpen. I'd rather that than bringing in Reese and moving Bryce to the outfield. I don't like that much change. I'm not a huge fan of.
All right, it's now time for the Scrubs Howard spelling bee.
This man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play.
4 for 7, though, Ray.
He is 4 for 7 and climbing. He's got 3 in a row, I believe.
And let's be honest here. The 4 for 7 is suspect because Ricochet, I was given that point. So it should be 5 for 7, but.
All right, the word is jambalaya, as in when we spent our last road trip in New Orleans, we ordered a lot of jambalaya.
All right, you're saying jambalaya, but if I'm not mistaken, there's no U. Let me see if I get this correct. Jambalaya, jambalaya.
That is correct. All right, what is going on here? What is going on? He is 5 for 8.
I would not have gotten that one.
He is soaring up.
See, he tried to trick me with the jambalaya he threw out.
Compared to the normal spelling bee where they don't try and trick you.
That's the way it's pronounced, jambalaya.
I know. But you put a lot of emphasis on the
I did not. I was not trying to trick you at all. All right, listen, you're on a roll, man. 5 for 8. People are starting to get a different perspective of you, I believe, with this spelling bee.
Well, Dawood hit the nail on the head earlier. He goes, Bill must have had a kind bar. I did, and then I went on fire. Then I went on fire after that.
Yes, you did have a kind bar. All right, 610-632-0975. Do you want me to get this a little tougher? Because frankly, I'm giving you some easier ones.
Remember, I still have a lifeline to Ray Dunn in my pocket that I haven't utilized yet.
You do have a lifeline to Ray Dunn.
So if you go hard, I'm going Ray.
Ray, are you up for that?
That sounds a little weird.
Yeah. It was a little odd by you.
That's not the way I looked at Ray.
I may have to go really difficult for you in the next one. I hope you don't mind.
All right, bring it, man. You think I'm scared? I ain't scared.
All right. Well, somehow we got to get a flame-throwing bullpen guy in here to stop you. 610-632-0975 is how you climb in. It's a Friday show. We're having a little fun. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Connor Thomas.
97.5, The Fanatic. 610-622-0975 is how you get into the show. So a couple of topics today that Dave Dombrowski spoke on a podcast. I want to hear him talk about how they don't need a closer. Now, again, they don't need a traditional closer. Rob Thompson has been able to operate with that for the last couple of years without a traditional closer, like the days of Brad Lidge. He would match up, which is fine. He managed well matching it up with Alvarado in there. But now that Alvarado is out of there, you might not need a closer, but you need a high-leverage late-inning guy, which I don't believe they have right now. If you're counting on Romano, okay, if you want to, I don't know, if you want to go that far in your brain to trust that he is the closer, that's fine. I'd rather see him as a matchup guy, to have Rob Thompson use him that way. But then you're talking about Matt Strahm in 92 miles an hour, and you talk about Kirkring, who can be hit or miss. So I do believe they need a closer type, a guy with closer type of stuff, firepower, that they could use in a high-leverage situation at the end of games. So here's what he had to say about what they need in the bullpen.
Well, I don't know if I'd say closer. I think you have to identify your needs as time goes on, and probably our biggest need is our bullpen. I mean, it has been for us, and you lose Alvarado, so you keep an eye on it. There's different ways to go about it. Internally, we have pitched better. Ideally, you would have some strength in more late inning type guys that can give you a scoreless inning late. We'll keep our eyes open on that. The other thing is, and I don't want to get too carried away at this point, but between our starting pitching right now, we're in a position where, and of course, Walker's in there now. At some point, he will move back to the bullpen when Nola's ready. And we're in a position where he did pitch great out of the bullpen. His velocity ticked up to 95 with a tremendous splitter. Fields his position, holds runners. We feel that the potential exists there for him to help us. You go into the postseason, we have 5 starting pitchers that are big league quality guys now, with Wheeler and Nola and Sanchez and Suarez and Luzardo, in addition to Walker. They're not all going to start, so somebody's going to slide into the bullpen for you.
All right. Now, he mentions Walker. I think that's too high of an evaluation of what Taijuan Walker is going to give you in the bullpen. I know they're crossing their fingers. He sounds pretty certain that he's going to get something good out of Walker. I am not so sure he is. But that still necessitates the need for a left-handed hammer to come out of that pen.
And when you say hammer, I'm not necessarily thinking Rangers Suarez because he doesn't throw that hard, but Suarez could be the left-hander.
He's got guile, and I wouldn't be that disappointed if it's Suarez.
So now you got the potential of Suarez. Ray floated the idea earlier. Could it even be Sanchez as your lefty in that bullpen? But we don't know if he can do it. We know Rangers done it before. It doesn't seem to bother him coming in those situations. He did it in the postseason before. Sanchez never has. But look, if you could make a move and get another arm in the pen, whether it's a righty or a lefty, and you added that to Romano, Kirkring, Strahm, and either Suarez or Sanchez and Walker, you're feeling it a lot better, aren't you? I mean, even just one arm coming into the pen, you feel pretty good.
I'm not feeling that great about Taijuan Walker in the bullpen. I'm feeling a lot better. Rangers Suarez has enough guile to come in an 8th inning situation and get out of it.
Yes, he does. He's proven
I'd be fine with that.
All right, so then if they move Suarez there, your lefties are Strahm and Suarez. Your righties are Romano and Kirkring. You're probably going to use Romano in the 9th, though.
Well, I'd still like to have some righty come out with 98. I just miss a guy who comes out with 98.
Could it be Mick Abel?
No.
Or you don't want to put a rookie in that position?
I don't think he's ready for that kind of role. In a late leverage situation, you feeling that, Ray?
I'm not. Yeah. I'm not ready to just anoint him on that one.
I think he's the trade piece.
Yeah, I've been joking with pretty much every single one of my friends brings up Abel. Like, he's going to look great in an Orioles uniform. I'm very prepared for him not to be here post-July.
Yeah.
Now, I was looking at this morning before we came on the air. The Athletic put out their top 50 prospects updated after the first 2 months of the season. And interestingly, we always talk about some of these prospects as being, you got to protect this guy. They're not ranked as high as others. So Andrew Painter, they have as the 5th overall prospect in all of baseball. Mm-hmm. Ada Miller, number 9. Doesn't surprise me. We talk about both those guys as being top prospects. But then all the way down at number 40 is not Justin Crawford. It's Arun Escobar, the second baseman / third baseman, only 20 years old.
Well, he's at a low level, though, isn't he? What is he? Is he in
yeah.
single?
Oh, yeah.
He's raking and
Oh,
he's
yeah.
in single A.
Yeah, he's in single A, and he's crushing it. But could he be the trade piece? Because then they have Justin Crawford at 42. Mick Abel's not even in the top 50 prospects. Now, I get it because they haven't seen him really perform as effectively as we just saw.
What's he on the Phillies list, though? When they list the Phillies list their prospects, how is it ranked?
Last year crushed him. I mean, last year took him off all those lists. And he's also getting to the point where his age, like, he's not that old. I'm not saying he's old, but, like.
According to MLB.com, they have Mick Abel as the 8th best prospect in the Phillies system.
Oh.
Theirs is a little bit different, so they don't even have.
Okay, give me the 7. We know like 3 of the 7, but fill in the blanks there.
Well, and MLB has Escobar all the way at 13. So here's what they got:
Okay.
Painter, Miller, Crawford, Eduardo Tate, the catcher, number 4, Chase, Nori,
who's now out for the season.
Yeah, Dante Nori, 6.
Nori's a little outfielder.
Griffin Burkholder, another outfielder. Both of those guys are single A.
Yeah,
and then they got Mick Abel at number 8. Devin Saltaban and Gabriel Raconis Jr.
Raconis had some moments in spring training. All right. Do they have enough to get a relief pitcher? They probably do. Their prospects are probably good enough to get a relief pitcher.
What's Otto Kemp been up to these days? Remember?
Boy, he must have fallen off
because I haven't heard anybody talking about him.
I'll say, if your boy Dubs, they're like, you know what? We're cool with him. That would be the next thing I see happening.
Otto Kemp, what's Otto Kemp doing? I haven't heard a lot about him lately over the last couple of weeks.
I got it. Last 10 games.
Is he slumping?
Last 10 games. No, he's hitting .297 with 2 dingers, 8 ribbies. Yeah. OBP at .395 in the last 10.
2 dingers and 8 ribbies is not good.
Not a lot of power there, but he's had power in the past.
I'm telling you, I think that's the next little cycle they try.
Yeah, they're not great numbers. So 2 and 8 is not great.
He's the 24th ranked prospect right now in the Phillies system.
He leads the International League in home runs and RBIs.
All right, so tonight the Phillies against the Milwaukee Brewers, which is a very interesting game here. We haven't talked about it much. DL Hall for Milwaukee, a left-hander. So give me your line. It looks like Sosa going to be in there. Well, depending on Bryce Harper, I guess Sosa has to be in there. Who would they then play at third base?
Yeah, it didn't sound like Harper was going to be available today from what Topper said after the game.
Okay, so if Harper's not available against the lefty, what will the lineup be? We'll take a shot at that after this. 610-632-0975.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Bills split the doubleheader. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies split yesterday's doubleheader with the Braves, taking 2 of 3 from Atlanta in the series. The afternoon game was Rafael Marchand show, hitting a home run, driving in 3 runs, and then throwing a runner out in the 9th, helping lead the Phillies to a 5-4 win. The nightcap was a rare poor start from Zach Wheeler, and the Braves won that one 9-3. Bryce Harper didn't play in either game, and after the game, Rob Thompson talked about his superstar.
I mean, he's going to miss a few games, I would think. Moving forward, I don't know. We'll check it out tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be it's not an IL or anything like that.
We'll see if he plays this weekend as the Phillies open up a 3-game set with the Brewers. 6:45 tonight at Citizens Bank Park. DL Hall, the opener for the Brewers tonight. Taijuan Walker getting the start for the Phillies. Eagles hitting the practice field again today. 3rd day of OTAs for them as they continue through Phase 3 of their offseason. The Union in Dallas this weekend as the top team in the Eastern Conference take it on FC Dallas. 8:30 kickoff for that game on Saturday, and you can listen to it right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Rocket. Rocket.com is a single, seamless home ownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, and even refinance your home. Get started today at Rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for NBA playoff action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Take a stab here at the lineup because the starter is DL Hall, but we were told by Mr. Baseball Connor Thomas that Hall will be used as an opener tonight. So that means that Quinn Priester, a right-hander, will get the majority of the innings after Hall gives him maybe 2 innings. In that case, the Phillies would probably start their left-handed lineup because Sosa has to play. If Harper's not going to play, Sosa has to play third. Alec Boehm will play first base. Stott will be in the lineup then. So will Kepler. And the only question is, do you start Marsh knowing that maybe Marsh doesn't even face a left-hander yet because he's only going to face 2 innings? Only play 2 innings, pitch 2 innings.
Yeah, I would start Marsh then. I would
Marsh should be your starter with Kepler.
Yeah, I would do the standard right-handed lineup, when you're facing a right-hander. Now that would mean Stott would be leading off against a lefty, but this also I want to see Stott get an opportunity against lefties. And if you do happen to get to Marsh at the bottom of the lineup, that probably means things are going well. Because if he's only pitching 2 innings and you get to your 9.
All right, so let me remind you that the casualty rate for Bryce Harper is now 4 games. So they got away with putting him on the shelf for 4 games without any retaliation. Now, my good friend Jason Stark, who has turned into an anti-retaliation guy.
No, he's evolved.
Maybe he has evolved. Maybe he's evolved better than I have. But Jason covered the game when it was, he covered the era where the baseball players would police themselves. So I'm kind of shocked sometimes that he has his attitude. But he had something to say about the lack of retaliation. And I think he thinks it's just a sign of the times that we've gotten a little softer, and that's okay. Here's Jason.
I know everybody wants to retaliate, and we just don't live on that planet anymore. I talked to Spencer Strider after that game the other night, and he didn't want to hit Bryce. He said it himself. He's not a sociopath. What a quote. He didn't want to see one of the best players in baseball writhing in pain because of him. So I guess I should ask you guys, the reason to retaliate and drill Ronald Acuna Jr. or Matt Olson would be what? Because we don't like Spencer Strider here. We love to boo Spencer Strider. So let's throw a baseball 95 miles an hour at somebody and inflict a little pain from them. My whole thing about retaliation is it's one thing if a guy gets hit and you can tell it's on purpose. Where is that evidence? Spencer Strider pitches inside. He had real problems throwing strikes the other night. Bryce is a guy who dives in against right-handers. I was there. It was hard to watch, but you started the question this way. Retaliation just isn't part of the culture of the sport anymore, and I would be surprised if you saw any retaliation from Zach Wheeler tonight.
Oh, Jason, you're making me cry. I feel like I lost a friend. I feel like I lost a compadre. Jason has gone to the other side. Oh, no, it breaks my heart. Jay, if you're listening, you're breaking my heart. He took your guy out because he pitched inside, not because he hit him on purpose. You want to pitch inside, you clip a guy, you put him out for 4 games. There's a price to pay for that. Albies leading off the 2nd inning. You hit him in the leg.
So not only is Jason Stark on the right side of this argument that I don't feel like rehashing with you, I want to hear you now yell at Jason Stark and say it's because he's not a baseball guy. Let me hear it.
Jason's a baseball guy.
Oh,
evidently,
I was called not a baseball guy.
You're not a baseball guy. Jason, I know, is a baseball guy. He's covered the sport for 40 years.
And he's on the same side of the argument.
Because he's gotten soft. Somewhere along the line, he's gotten soft.
Not a baseball guy, Jason.
Jason is every bit of a baseball guy.
Only in the Hall of Fame.
Now, he's right about maybe the culture has changed a little bit, but that is a visceral moment. You knocked the guy out for 4 games, and you got nothing out of it. No satisfaction whatsoever.
Well, you win the series. That's a little bit of satisfaction. You're 9.5 games up on the Braves. That's a little bit of satisfaction. You're a better team than the Braves, up and down. That's a little bit of satisfaction, too.
I try to ignore you sometimes, and I am ignoring you now. Bill is talking, and I am not listening. Bill is talking, and I am not listening.
Ray, why don't you talk to him then?
He's not going to like what I have to say either. We've covered that part of it.
We've already established that both of you, they're soft. You gotta go home and plant some pansies.
Soft
wait. Go ahead, of the 3 of us, who's got the garden?
I have the garden. But I plant tomatoes, not pansies.
Do we know that for sure?
I plant male stuff. Male vegetable growth.
Tomatoes, the official plant of a tough guy.
That's right. Because then I make a nice sauce out of it.
Because then he throws them at us when he hates our points.
Peppers, hot peppers, tough guy stuff. Onions, right? Onions and garlic.
Tough guys.
Not pansies. You guys. All right.
He wouldn't know how to plant a pansy if you asked him.
Who? Bill? No, you've never planted anything, have you? Have you ever put any plants around your house?
No.
Like,
I do have a.
Does your wife? Does Bridget plant stuff?
Nah, neither one of us has the green thumb. I do have a snake plant though that I've kept alive for a few years
Snake plant,
now.
an indoor plant?
Yeah, they're very easy to keep alive. Snake plants.
Snake plant. You don't put like petunias in or anything like that around the house?
No.
No?
I've never planted anything.
Well, what do you have around your house?
I don't have a green thumb.
Do you have any shrubs?
Yeah, our lawn people have done it. They planted. Our lawn service has planted some flowers.
You've actually never planted a flower on your own property?
No, never once. Now that I think about it. I think the last thing I planted.
Why don't you live in a condo?
I think what's the
point of the property?
I wish I could.
You don't maintain your grounds. You don't mow your lawn. You don't plant your flowers.
I just had this conversation with my wife last week. I love apartment living. I wish that we still lived in an apartment. The problem is I have 3 kids. They need the yard and all the the basement and all that stuff.
Apparently, you don't need the yard.
No.
Once you have a yard, put in some flowers for crying out loud.
If I could live in an apartment my entire life, I would.
Well, you're not. You have a property now. Do some stuff do some homeowner stuff.
It gets done. The last thing I planted was in middle school when you would plant the bean and then watch it grow in the dirt. You know what I'm talking about?
A lazy ass. All right, it's back to the Scrubs Howard spelling bee. Bill is batting more than 600 right now, right?
This is bad.
Now, in a spelling bee,
very, very bad.
that would get you eliminated. But 5 for 8 ain't bad considering he started 1 for 4. So, Bill, the word is effervescent.
Oh, man.
Sangria is an effervescent mix of wine, fruit, sugar, and club soda. you no belief in him, Ray? No belief in Bill for
I would say no.
effervescent? Come on, Bill.
I don't know. I'm going to take a shot. This is going to be wrong. EVERSCENT.
You were wrong with the V. EFFERVESCENT.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I should have gone to Ray. Ray, I should have gone to you. I forgot I had the lifeline.
Why do you think I hit the buzzer? I had no idea how to spell that thing. I was just thinking we were at the same level.
The average has gone down now. 5 for 9.
Oh, man. 50% is failure.
It is.
The next one's a big one.
It is. The next one is a big one. So let's go back to this. Actually, we'll go to the phones here because we got Andy from Lambertville who does not want Rhys Hoskins at all. Andy, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, buddy?
Hey, good afternoon, gents. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Andy.
Hey, I know you're not playing golf tomorrow because of the rain. Maybe you take a ride up this way.
Maybe I will. Maybe I got to get to the shore and do some chores.
Sunday, so you know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Hey, I was, the last thing Bill planted was like a 14-year-old right winger trying to crash the net in youth hockey.
Stay away from my goalie, Andy.
Bill planted a half of a potato, and he put it in water, and it grew eyes, and that's the extent of his planting.
Yesterday during the game, Mike, I was thinking about you because Schwarber planted that 438 bomb into the seats.
Oh, look at you!
And well, first of all, no, because I was thinking about you. If I recall correctly, one of your favorite players when you were a kid was Richie Dick Allen, correct?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so I was in the almanac. Now, 60 years ago, yesterday, Dick Allen hit a bomb that left Connie Mack. It was the tail of the tape was 529.
Yes, he hit it over the roof.
I mean, it's incredible when you think about it.
Yeah, he used to hit him to center field. I remember that stadium had a deep center field, and he would hit him over that fence. It was like 450.
It's unbelievable. I mean, 529.
Yeah, he had massive, strong wrists.
But for all those people that say Schwarber in the leadoff or batting cleanup, he just hits wherever. But oddly enough, 9 out of his last 10 home runs are solo shots in that 4-hole.
Yeah, well, that's all right. That's all right.
I mean, it is
still
what
very
it is. But,
effective.
he's very effective, but everybody was saying, "Oh, if he's in the leadoff, all of his home runs are just solo shots." But I find it odd that 9 out of the last 10 in the 4-hole.
Yeah, it's a little quirky.
But yeah.
So this Rhys Hoskins, you're not feeling it.
No, I'm not in on a Hoskins. Now, I like the guy. I'm not like anti-Hoskins per se, but I'm thinking there are way too many more pressing needs, unless they're going to make 4 trades, which I don't see happening. Why? I mean, Hoskins is probably way down on the priority list now.
Yeah, he's down. It's not a priority, but if it makes sense in that, Milwaukee would probably give him away for nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, people are talking about trading some high ticket items in terms of the Phillies for Hoskins, and I was like, why would you do that? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, all right. I mean, it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. It does make sense to Bill.
You want that right-handed bat? I know you want that right-handed bat.
I like right-handed
If we get that, I do, and I agree. But also, if you're going to trade, obviously the bullpen is top priority in my mind. But secondary would be a center fielder, even though I've been known to be a Rojas guy. But, I mean, I know center field, but can't you get a right-handed bat in center field? You do 2 for, I mean, you get a center fielder and a right-handed bat. Not a power bat, but let's be honest. Is Hoskins really that guy anymore?
He's having a great year.
Well, so far, but that means he's going to tail off.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean,
I don't know either,
he's
but
still
nobody knows. But
yeah, he's still a home run threat, Andy.
All right. Huh?
Okay, you got it. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
No, but I like Andy's idea. If you could get that right-handed bat, and he also plays center, that's a great scenario.
Yeah, How many people are out there like that? Though? You can play center field, right-handed bat. We got anybody available out there?
I'm not going to.
What are you going to do with your current center fielders? You got to make sure you can move guys. What's the matter? You no longer with Johan? Did you abandon Johan?
No, I said I would be fine with Johan Rojas if that's in fact what they decide to do, as long as you fix the bullpen. I just checked in on my buddy Luis Robert Jr. He's hitting 190 now.
Yeah, your boy. You wanted to acquire him at all costs last year. 610-632-0975. Bill is 5 for 9. Can he drop down to 500 with another word that's coming? It might be the last word we give him for today. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
ESPN's Adam Schefter.
We have a little bit of breaking news here. Hit it, Ray.
Now, breaking sports news from 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, Billy, the Adam Schefter alert is what involving the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, not a huge shocker. We predicted this week, but Adam Schefter reports sources have said the 49ers and Eagles are working to finalize a trade that will send edge rusher Bryce Huff to San Francisco for a mid-round pick. The trade cannot and would not be processed until after June 1st, but both sides are working to make it happen. And how about this? Huff has already reworked his contract to help facilitate the trade.
He wanted out.
Oh, won't see him no
He
more.
wanted out. I don't like that Vic Fangio. He doesn't like the way I play. I don't like him either.
Well, this makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. Rob Saleh, former head coach of the New York Jets, where Bryce Huff had his double-digit sack season.
You know him as Rob Saleh.
Robert.
Not Robert Saleh. He says Rob Saleh.
Robbie.
Okay.
Robbie. Good old Robbie Saleh.
Sure.
He that's where Bryce Huff had his double-digit sack season, so he gets him back in San Francisco. Mid-round pick. I would be shocked if this was anything higher than a fifth-rounder. If they could get a fourth-rounder, that would be a home run. And they also save $4.4 million against the cap because they're doing it post-June 1st. But like I brought up the other day, not that Huff was giving you much, but you got to figure out where all these snaps are going to come from. Is there another move up the Eagles' sleeve? Because last year, Huff did play close to 300 snaps. Sweat played over 600. Graham played over 300. You're talking over 1,200 reps that need to be replaced. Now, does that happen with an increased role for Jalix Hunt? Can Josh Uche stay healthy?
Yeah.
Can Azeez Ojulari stay healthy? So we'll see how it all works out.
Not a big revelation because we talked about this, him not being at OTA. There was a reason that he wouldn't be at OTA. They told him to stay away.
Yeah.
Don't get hurt.
That's exactly what we were predicting. So it was not a shocker, but where it is a shocker is the almighty Howie Roseman. And I love him too, but there's a false misconception that he's perfect. This was a big miss in free agency last year.
Total big miss.
Big miss. So it worked out.
Either it's a big miss or it's Fangio just not liking the guy's style. You know, like maybe their intentions were good on getting a guy who could rush the passer, and then Fangio goes, he doesn't do it the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
And it makes Howie look bad. Fangio, in a way, makes Howie look bad here.
Yeah, like we know that Zach Baun was a signing that Roseman made with Fangio's input. Yep. This was probably a guy where maybe Fangio didn't love him from the beginning. So either way, it's going to work out for the Eagles. So we'll wait for that news to break officially.
All right. Let's see. Any text board reaction to that out of the shoot here or the chat, Bill? What are the people saying on the chat?
Let's see what we got on the chat.
The chat is so happy to see Bryce Huff go.
Yeah.
Natalie P. with a little pun. Huff your way out of here in a huff of smoke.
Well, there you go.
There we go.
I like that.
I think people are just happy to see him go.
Yeah, it's not really a stirring development here today.
No, get the Huff out of here. Someone. Look, he wasn't even activated for the Super Bowl. So it's not a massive loss by any means. You just got to hope that there's enough there at the edge with you losing Sweat and Brandon Graham also that all these guys can step up and play bigger roles.
All right, what's the text board saying, Ray, before we get back to the phones with Jim?
Yeah, we got a texter that is lamenting the loss of one Austin Hayes. The right-handed bat we should have brought in is the one that we let walk after last year, currently hitting .303 in Cincinnati. Maybe we should have kept Austin Hayes.
I said when they got him, I said this guy could pay some dividends. Now, it didn't work out that way. But guys like Bill, who buried him, set a tone for people. Like they get rid of this guy. He's got nothing. Instead of being a little patient and maybe signing him to a little deal and running it back.
You think Dombrowski's listening to me? That the reason they didn't sign him was because I didn't want him?
I'm just saying that the whole town was ready to move him out rather than have patience. And maybe if he's healthy in the next year, then maybe he would be a viable right-handed bat for them.
He is hitting 300 this year.
So if you look at it, did they get fleeced by switching out Kepler for Hayes?
I don't know. I mean, Hayes has only played 31 games this year. Did he get hurt at all during the season? Or are they platooning him?
I mean, they're pretty much platooning him.
Well, they're platooning him.
So he wasn't the everyday left fielder.
I think you could have platooned with Marsh and had your boy as your everyday center fielder. How would you have liked that?
Who's my boy?
Beltman.
Rojas.
The Beltman.
You hate.
We also don't have a total unanimous Reese approval here. Jim from Bluebell, can we please stop the Hoskins nonsense? Leave the corner butcher where he is.
Yeah, all right, the corner butcher, but he's a right-handed sock bat. Like, you got one guy now who's really a bona fide home run threat. If you brought Rhys Hoskins in, he's a bona fide home run threat. Now, I know Harper is too, but Harper isn't as much of a guy that's going to pop one these days as hit the ball. He's a good hitter, but I don't know if he's going to give you 35 bombs. Is he this year?
Who, Reese?
Yeah, no.
Harper. I don't know. I mean, Harper was starting to come into his own a little bit, and now going back to getting plunked, which is going to give you more reason why they should have retaliated, even though I disagree. Who knows now? What does this do to him? Does this set him back a little bit?
All right, let's go back to the phones. Jim has a solution about the Phillies bullpen that I want to hear. Jim, what's your solution?
Hey, Mike and Bill, thank you for getting me on. Okay, out of the box. Mike, do you remember years ago the Braves took Smoltz out of their rotation and put him in the bullpen?
Yeah.
Worked out effectively.
Yeah.
My thing is let the Phillies take Zach Wheeler, make him the closer, at least for the playoffs. You have the three starters. What good is it if Zach Wheeler pitches 3 innings? I mean, 6 innings, you have 3 innings left. That's one. 2, the other positive is if you do that, you don't have to trade any of the prospects to get a closer. You would have him. I understand he's your best pitcher, but in the playoffs, you have the 3 guys. You only start 3 guys anyway.
I don't think you understand that he's your best pitcher. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever. Jim, I love you, but this is the most ridiculous.
Last year, Mike, he pitched 200 innings last year, 32 starts. 24 of them, he went 6 innings. 8, he went 7 innings. What's the harm in doing that? They don't have a closer now. The bullpen's terrible now.
Jim, you got a guy who has shutout potential.
Prospects, you don't think about anything.
Jimmy, you're killing me. This is not even a lukewarm call.
Okay, so what is your answer?
Well, the answer is you acquire somebody. You don't make Wheeler a closer.
Mike,
well, I don't know. It's Dombrowski. Yes,
the guy from the Cardinals, Helsley, is going to cost you 1 or 2 of the top guys, the minors, or Finnegan from Nationals. It won't cost you that much.
Yeah, Jim.
What's the harm, though, Mike?
What's the harm? You're taking maybe the second best pitcher in the game and putting him in the bullpen.
The Braves did it with Smoltz.
Well, they did it at the start of a season. Because they had enough on the rotation at the start of a season, and they didn't have a closer.
So do the Phillies. They have the 3 starters.
You can't make him a closer now.
Mike,
Jim, come on,
it's
Jim.
only May. It's the end of May.
Jim.
You just try it. If you would just do that, it would solve everything.
Jim, you're killing him. Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's thinking outside the box, but you can't do that.
Come on, man.
You can't.
Well, let's not overthink it here. Huh? All right.
People, our YouTube chat was saying that was Greg calling under a different name.
Oh, my God.
At 2 o'clock on a Friday.
My man may have been mushroomed out with that call. In any event, here's the final Scrubs Howard spelling bee question for Bill Colarulo, who is currently 5 for 9. So this means if you miss it, you drop down to 500, which is terrible for a spelling bee. You get it right,
these were
you're
some hard
6 for
words.
10, you're hitting 600, which still isn't that much better, but at least it's over 500. The word is porcelain, as in little Mikey Miss used to work over a porcelain table with his mum to make thousands of gnocchis back in the day.
I think I know it. All right. Porcelain. Porcelain. Porcelain.
Repeat that one again.
Porcelain.
Correct! Oh, my God!
What a finish!
An upset! Bill goes 6 for 10 and bats 600 in the Scrubs Howard spelling bee.
Bill,
Ray, what do you think of that performance, Ray?
Get excited!
Ray, I think we should turn the tides here. I think Mike should have to spell
Hold on
something.
a second. Ray, are you astonished by this performance, or are you saying 600 is no big deal? He got 4 wrong.
Yeah, I mean, 60%. If we were talking about a spelling test in school, you're probably going to let her home to the parents. So,
Look, I don't
gotta be
think
honest with
either one
came
of you
up big
would have
on
did.
porcelain, though.
I don't think either one of you would have done better.
No, I'm a good speller.
Oh, I wouldn't have done better. But he asked me my assessment of you.
Yeah.
Every day I show up here and make assessments of guys who do jobs better than I would do their job. It's not about what I would do.
You have to understand that I was a writer. I had to be a good speller. I was a newspaper man. You don't get to be a newspaper man without being able to spell.
Yeah, but you got an editor.
Hey, editor, you can't turn in copy with words that are spelled wrong, and we didn't have spell check back then.
You think the editor's there just for the spelling?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. Remember, Ray? Remember, I forgot. Mike wasn't on a computer. Remember he was on that keyboard?
Oh, so that Radio Shack.
I'm writing an article here. See? The tennis player yelled at him.
The typewriter.
I'm trying to write an article here. See?
The electric typewriter. Then it went to the little Radio Shack mini screen computer that we used to use. I've been through the wars, Bill. You don't know. Back in the day when I used to walk barefoot.
We only got 15 seconds here. But isn't that how you met Anthony Organo for the first time?
That is correct. Anthony didn't know how to work the Radio Shack thing, and I told him to say he goes and covers the game without knowing how to send it. It was priceless. Everybody have a great weekend. We had a great time. Be safe out there, and we'll talk to you Monday.